University in
Distinguished
Banten
guest
Province.
speakers, Professor Walsh, Professor Baladhay, and Professor Hazman. Thank you. Attention please, the conference is about to start.
Pamulang University was established in 2004 by Sasmita Jaya Foundation, led by Dr. Honoris Causa Dr. Andes Haji Darsono. Having a vision as a university that is the center of development of a victorious civilization in providing access to higher education for wider community embedded in religiosity and humanism. Pamulang University carries the mission of organizing qualified and affordable higher education governance so that it can be accessed by wider community embedded in religiosity and humanism, organizing higher education that develops the civilization of science, technology, arts, and culture, organizing research and community service which has innovation, value, and impact on society, organizing cooperation with stakeholders to support the implementation of the Tridharma of higher education, having diverse students from various parts of Indonesia and lecturers who have academic qualifications and teaching competences and are committed to carrying out the Tridharma of higher education. Pamulang University has 3 campuses with strategic locations in the center of South Tangerang City. university currently has 10 faculties and 1 postgraduate program with a total of 39 study programs. Faculty of Economics and Business, Faculty of Law, Faculty of Literature, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Computer Science, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Faculty of Islamic
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, the conference is about to start. Please mute your microphone and your
Recording
cellular.
in progress.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allahumma sholli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Rabbi shrahli sadri wa yassirli amri walul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Best wishes for all of us. Greeting of kindness. Good morning and welcome to everyone to the 7th International Conference of Management and Science 2025. Magister Management of Universitas Pamulang. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend a warm welcome to taking the time to attend this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome distinguished Chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, Dr. Pranoto, SAMM, Rector of Pamulang University, Dr. A. Nurzaman, MSEMM, Director of Postgraduate Universitas Pamulang, Dr. Saiful Anwar, SPD MPD, Head of the Study Program Magister Management, Professor Dr. Insinyur Hamsina MSI, and warm welcome to the distinguished of speakers, Professor Dr. Junerey P. Baladhay, Site Director Teleconference Adjunct Faculty, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Professor John Walsh, Doctor of Philosophy, Dean of Thailand, Professor Hazman Samsudin, Director of Blue Economic Advancement Center, Beacon, University of Malaysia, Terengganu, and all participants of 2025 International Conference of Management and Science. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let us praise and thank to the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most gracious, the most merciful, the creator and sustainer of the universe. Peace be upon to the great Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family, friends and followers. May we all become a people who istiqomah and receive his syafaat. Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce, I'm Umi Rosilawati, will as a Master of Ceremony to the 7th International Conference of Management and Science 2025. And the theme is Green Human Resource Management and Ethical Talent Development Towards Sustainable Organization Impact. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to read the rundown of the international conference today as follows. First is opening, the second is prayer, the third sings a national anthem of Indonesia Raya, the fourth singing the Unpa Mars, the fifth welcoming remarks, the sixth the core event of conference, and the last is closing. Ladies and gentlemen, we proceed to the first agenda. It is opening. Let us open this event together by reading Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We sing that today's conference will go smoothly and fruitfully, provides useful knowledge and information for all of us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the second agenda is opening prayer. We would like to invite Dr. Ali Imran SHMH to lead the Muslim prayer, and for non-Muslim would pray according to the faith. Dr. Ali Imran SH.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saudara-saudara, mari kita bersama-sama berdoa. Izinkan dalam kesempatan yang berbahagia ini saya memimpin doa dengan agama Islam, dan bagi saudara-saudara yang beragama lain dipersilakan untuk berdoa sesuai dengan agama dan kepercayaannya. Tundukkan kepala, lapangkan hati, penuh dengan keikhlasan, Semoga apa yang menjadi hajat kita dikabulkan oleh Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Astaghfirullahalazim, astaghfirullahalazim, astaghfirullahalazim. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina wa maulana Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Ya Allah, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Rahman, ampunilah dosa dan kekhilafan kami, dosa dan kekhilafan kedua orang tua kami, dan dosa-dosa generasi pendahulu kami. Serta sayangilah kami dan mereka dalam keluasan rahmat dan kasih sayang-Mu. Ya Allah, Ya Fattahu, Ya Alim, bukakanlah hati dan pikiran kami untuk mudah memahami segala ilmu pengetahuan-Mu, khususnya tentang ilmu manajemen, dengan maha keluasan rahmat pengetahuan-Mu. Ya Allah, Ya Basit, Ya Fattah, lapangkanlah dada kami, mudahkanlah urusan kami dan lancarkan lisan kami dalam menyampaikan ilmu pengetahuan sehingga dapat menjadi penerang bagi kami. Ya Allah, Ya Aziz, Ya Wahhab, jadikanlah webinar internasional program studi Magister Manajemen Universitas Pamulang ini sebagai gudang ilmu dan bermanfaat bagi generasi penerus kami serta bagi masyarakat, bangsa dan negara. Ya Allah, Ya Syafi', sehatkanlah jiwa dan badan kami, Bapak Ibu dosen kami, guru-guru kami, pemimpin-pemimpin kami yang berada dalam naungan Universitas Pamulang. Terimalah amal baik pendiri Universitas Pamulang almarhum Bapak Dr. Honoris Causa Haji Darsono sehingga menjadi berkah buat kami. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, dengan kasih dan sayang-Mu, ridhoilah webinar yang bertema pengembangan talenta yang beretika menuju organisasi yang berkelanjutan. Berikanlah bimbingan, pengajaran dan petunjuk kepada kami sehingga acara ini bisa berjalan dengan lancar dari awal hingga akhir. Ya Allah, Ya Mu'min, Ya Salam, jadikanlah Magister Manajemen Universitas Pamulang bisa melahirkan generasi penggerak yang mampu melakukan perubahan dan selalu berinovasi dengan visi dan misinya humanis dan religius dalam membantu mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa, terutama masyarakat kecil, sehingga bisa diterima di semua lapisan masyarakat. Rabbana dhalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Allahumma inni as'aluka bi anni ashhadu annaka antallahu la ilaha illa anta antal ahadus samad lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzabannar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wallahul muwafiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Sumassalam. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Dr. Ali Imran, SHMH. Now we continue to the next agenda, the third and the fourth agenda. We invite you to sing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya and the Unpam Mars. Please be ready with the perfect attitude. The song will be played shortly. Thank you.
itulah slogan kami, Universitas Pamulang. Layaknya sang mentari menyinari bumi, cerahkan insan sambil berbudi, laksanakan dharma perguruan tinggi, mengabdi pada ibu pertiwi. Jayalah, jayalah universitasku, jayalah Universitas Pamulang. Jayalah, jayalah universitasku, jayalah Universitas Pamulang. Di kota Tangerang Selatan, naungan Yayasan Sasmita Jaya, berbagi untuk negeri, itulah slogan kami, Universitas Pamulang. Layaknya sang mentari menyinari bumi, cerahkan insan sambil berbudi, laksanakan dharma perguruan tinggi, mengabdi pada ibu pertiwi. Jayalah, jayalah universitasku, jayalah Universitas Pamulang. Jayalah, jayalah universitasku, jayalah Universitas Pamulang.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is welcoming speech by the head of Magister Management Postgraduate Program of University Pamulang, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Hamsina Baharudin MSc. Professor Hamsina, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Chairman of the Sasmita Jaya Foundation, Dr. Pranoto S.A.M.M., the Honorable Rector of Universitas Pamulang, Dr. E. Nurjaman, M.M. M.Sc., distinguished Vice Rectors, Director of Postgraduate Studies, Deans, and Heads of Study Programs at Universitas Pamulang, respected keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Syed Abdul Hamid Aljunid, Lecturer in Ethics and Governance at INSAFE, distinguished invited speakers, Professor Dr. John Walsh, D.Phil, Dean of British International College, Creek University, Thailand, Professor Dr. Junerey P. Baladhay, Site Director at Teleperformance and Adjunct Faculty, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Professor Dr. Hazman Samsudin, Director of the Blue Economy Advancement Center, University Malaysia, Terengganu, and esteemed academics, researchers, and participants of this international webinar, let us begin by offering praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, whose blessing and grace have enabled us to convene virtually for this meaningful academic event. The theme of this international webinar, Green Human Resource Management and Ethical Talent Development towards Sustainable Organizational Impact, is highly pertinent to the realities of our contemporary global landscape. It also serves as an important reflection of our collective responsibility as academics and practitioners to foster organizations that are sustainable, ethical, and future-oriented. As head of the Master of Management program, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to the international speakers and the organizing committee for the dedication, expertise, and commitment in making this scientific forum possible. The presence of distinguished experts from diverse backgrounds and countries not only enriches our academic discourse, but also exemplifies the spirit of global collaboration and our shared commitment to advancing the pivotal role of human resource in driving organizational sustainability. The chosen theme underscores that environmentally responsible human resource management and ethical talent development have become imperative for contemporary organizations confronting increasingly complex environmental, social, and governance challenges. Through this forum, it's my sincere hope that we will engage in constructive academic discussion, critical exchanges of ideas, and enduring collaboration in research and practice among academics and professionals across nations. This webinar is envisioned not merely as a platform for knowledge sharing, but also as a catalyst for formulating innovative and practical solutions for human resource development that prioritize sustainability and ethical accountability. I wish all participants an enlightening and productive experience throughout this international webinar. May our deliberation yield meaningful benefits, broaden our collective perspectives, and contribute significantly to the advancement of knowledge and sustainable human resource management practices. Thank you for your kind attention. Wallahu muwafiq ila aqwamit thariq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Hamsina. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to convey warming greetings from the head of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, Dr. Pranoto, SAMM. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First and foremost, I would like to greet our distinguished speakers, Dr. John Walsh, from University, Thailand, Dr. Junerey P. Baladhay from Polytechnic University of Philippines, Associate Professor Dr. Hazman Samsudin from University Malaysia Terengganu, and also all my friends from Pamulang University, Pak Rektor, Bu Direktur, Pak Dekan, Ibu Kaprodi, semua, beserta adik-adik mahasiswa. On behalf of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, allow me to extend our warmest greeting from Pamulang University to all of you. All praise be upon to Allah, God Almighty, for His blessing. Salawat and salam also to our Prophet Muhammad. It is my great pleasure and honor to deliver this opening remark at International Conference Humanis 2025. Let me take this opportunity to express my gratitude and my highest appreciation to the committee for making the best effort to hold this event. This event aims to improve knowledge of students and lecturers gathered from external resources. Besides that, we hope that this event also can foster cooperation and collaboration between university in research and publication. I would like to extend very warm welcome and gratitude to each of our speakers for taking part of this event. The quality and the caliber of speaker this event is outstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, Sasmita Jaya Foundation aims to realize an affordable quality education for the community. To achieve the goal that we established, Pamulang University, Sasmita Jaya Foundation also attempt to provide excellent academic facility for students and lecturers. We build learning and teaching buildings, laboratories, library, and medical facility. All of that to create the best learning experience for our students and lecturers. Alongside, we ensure the quality of our teacher and lecturer through professional development on academic qualification, competence, and also career milestone. The realization of affordable education is supported by a range of business units under our foundation. These are properties, manufacturing plant, finance, and also farming. That business unit also act as a teaching industry or a real-life lab for as well as student research site for student and lecturer. In relation, green human resources management and ethical talent development, Sasmita Jaya Foundation offer full commitment to address the issue in the community toward sustainable organizational impact. Our foundation also support research in Pamulang University through research grant, so lecturer alongside with the student can collaborate to make solution to answer the problem in society through research. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our greatest hope that this outstanding the International Conference Humanis 2025 held by postgraduate program majoring Master of Management will continue and further improve, particularly in terms of journal output. We also hope that students will gain valuable knowledge from the speakers and be inspired to engage in research with lecturers. Before concluding, I would like to take this opportunity to once again commend the organizer of this international conference. With this, I would like to warmly wish you all a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Pranoto, SAMM. Ladies and gentlemen, now we continue with opening speech by the Rector of Universitas Pamulang, Dr. A. Nurzaman MMMSC, who will deliver his opening speech and will officially open the 2025 International of Management and Science. Dr. Nurzaman MMMSC, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Please allow me to speak both in Bahasa Indonesia and also English. The distinguished head of Sasmita Jaya Foundation, Mr. Dr. Pranoto MM, the respected Dr. Dinin Syahri Fajar Wahyudin, as keynote speaker from UNIDO Vienna, Austria, respected Associate Professor Dr. John Walsh from Greek University, Thailand, respected Associate Professor Dr. Junerey Baladhay from PUB Philippines, respected Associate Professor Dr. Hazman Samsudin from University of Putra Malaysia, all of the rest, Vice Rector, Director, Dean, Head of Study Program, Lecturer, and all of the students who are joining this international conference. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to the speaker for their willingness to share knowledge and experience with the participant. Also, for the chairman of Sasmita Jaya Foundation for fully support for any activity of our campus. Also, the director of master degree, head of master degree of management study program, and also for the committee of the seminar for their dedication, and all of the students who are already joining this seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, seminar is one of many ways how to increase knowledge, understanding, and point of view of the student who are studying at university level. So that's why we always conducting seminar event continuously as extended resources to support teaching material need to achieve our goal and objective. Today we are going to discuss about green SRM and ethical talent development toward sustainable organization impact. To make the seminar successful, then we invite research person or speaker who are competent and professional on their area of expertise. As mentioned above, now we have speaker from Vienna, Austria, from University Thailand, from UP Philippines, and from University of Putra Malaysia. Once again, thank you very much for the speaker who already join us. Hadirin hadirat yang berbahagia, seminar adalah merupakan salah satu cara dari berbagai cara untuk meningkatkan pemahaman memperluas wawasan kita, khususnya bagi para mahasiswa yang berada di perguruan tinggi. Karena para mahasiswa itu sejatinya adalah orang-orang yang memiliki metode belajar secara andragogi. Oleh karena itu, proses utama pembelajaran tidak berbasis feeding, tapi berbasis elaborasi dengan menghadirkan berbagai sumber. Kami dengan tim kawan-kawan secara akademik tentu sangat disupport oleh Mas Ketua Yayasan Sasmita Jaya dalam berbagai hal, mulai fasilitas program dan pembiayaan. Kita patut bersyukur bahwa seminar ini adalah salah satu wujud support dari yayasan dan inisiatif dari kita semuanya dalam rangka memberikan layanan terbaik kepada para mahasiswa. Oleh karena itu, sungguh kami berharap program ini menjadi salah satu perluasan sumber belajar dalam upaya mencapai tujuan dan arah yang akan kita capai bersama. Oleh karena itu, sungguh saya berharap kepada rekan-rekan mahasiswa terutama mengikuti seminar dengan sebaik-baiknya, penuh kesungguhan sehingga tidak hanya sertifikat yang diperoleh, tapi justru pemahaman yang mendalam, perluasan wawasan, dan keyakinan diri bahwa ilmu adalah senantiasa berkembang secara dinamis dan kita peroleh dari berbagai sumber atau arah. Selanjutnya, sekali lagi terima kasih kepada Kaprodi di bawah koordinasi Pak Direktur dengan seluruh panitia yang telah berupaya untuk mewujudkan International Conference ini berjalan, sehingga membawa benefit yang luar biasa bagi kita semuanya, khusus bagi para mahasiswa. The topic seminar is very important for us. So to all of the students and all of the participants who attended this seminar, could you please pay attention and follow it seriously? And we hope we can get benefit as much as possible. That's all what I want to say. May our God always with us. Demikian hari ini yang berbahagia, selamat berkarya, semoga lancar dan sukses dengan memperoleh manfaat yang sebanyak-banyaknya. Dengan mengucap Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, with the name of Allah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, officially I open this seminar. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. A. Nurjaman, MMMSc, for officially opening this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, before Professor Syed Abdul Hamid Aljunid deliver his speech, I would like to read his short curriculum vitae. Professor Dr. Syed Abdul Hamid Aljunid has 3 PhD degree. The first is from Islamic finance by coursework and dissertation. The second PhD in Islamic finance by research. And the third PhD from industrial in Islamic finance. And he has 3 master degree. The first is Magister of Science in Islamic finance. The second is MBA in Sustainable Business, Business Economics, Ethics and Governance. And the third is Master in Islamic Finance, MIFP, Ethics and Professional. He lectures in Ethics and Governance at International Center for Educational in Islamic Finance. INCEF is postgraduate university located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and also the world only university established by a central bank, Bank Negara Malaysia, to develop human capital and knowledge leadership for the global Islamic industry. Now, Professor Syed, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Can you hear me? Is it? Can everybody hear me? Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Yes, please.
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate Pamulang University for organizing this webinar. It's a very important topic for
Open your video.
Oh, okay.
Professor Syed, please open your video.
Can you see my...
Not yet. Please, sir, open your video.
I'm having problem with my... let me check again. I have problem with my video. So is it okay if I go without my video, if you don't mind? I'm having problem with the video.
Please continue.
Okay, thank you. So first and foremost, let me congratulate University Pamulang for organizing this very interesting webinar. We are in very challenging times. The world is changing so fast that some theories that have been formulated in recent years may no longer be relevant in the context of what is happening today. So may I also acknowledge, the Rector of University Pamulang, Dr. H.E. Nur Zaman, for the very enlightening address. Also, head of some Sasmita Jaya Group, Dr. Pranoto SEMM, and also organizing committee speech by the head of graduate studies for Magister Management University Pamulang. Thank you so much for inviting me to address a very important issue here pertaining to not only HRM but also sustainability. I think I have to correct, I do not have 3 PhDs or 3 masters. I think we are referring to the programs that are available at INSEF. They are not my degree, but these are programs that are being offered. So, I apologize if there is some mistakes there. So, if within the limited time that is available to me, I would like to emphasize that when we talk about sustainability and HRM, we are talking about a topic that is happening within a very dynamic and changing global environment. What I mean by this is that if you look at what is happening in the world, we have the VUCA environment where any kind of theory may not be actually reflecting the reality. Yeah, for the simple reason that things are volatile, uncertain, complex, and the other word is ambiguous. So there is no clear solution to any kind of problem. So we have to keep on collaborating and researching in order to understand how to make sense of the problem and how we frame the problem. Number 2, we are also in a particular state of affairs in the world where there is aging population, and also in some parts of the world we are beginning to see depopulation or decreasing population. That will have a bearing also on how we are going to look at HR, or human resource management. And thirdly, I think we have to consider what you call the aspect of green, the aspect of green HRM, looking not only at policies and reporting, but more in terms of the human beings that are going to be involved in sustainability. Because when you talk about human resources, we stand to whether we are clear or whether we are aware or not. When we talk about HRM, the ideological perspective is very much on system, organization, productivity, and whether we like it or not, human resource tend to be considered more like input, where there is metric of performance, etc. But unfortunately, if we are in a stable environment, I think where there is no repercussion with regards to the long-term sustainability of the world at large, that may have been applicable, especially the neoclassical economics based on postmodern concept. But unfortunately, we're not talking only about carbon reduction. We're not talking about ESG reports. We're not talking about green buildings. I think we are talking about green for whom and green for how long. Green for whom and green for how long. So therefore, even though green HRM is necessary, but it is not sufficient for the context of human sustainability framework. Because we need to be talking about what it means to be a human being. So when we look at human resource, the automatic tendency is to look at the human resource as any other resource that we can use in order to generate value for society. But unfortunately, the human resource is not the same as other resources like capital. Yeah, because we need to look at the human resource not only from the perspective of capacity skills, but also in terms of capabilities, in terms of making judgment, in terms of ethical reasoning and ethical considerations and reflections. Because if we do not have the ethical dimension among all the members of the organization, if they don't share the same kind of ethical culture and values, we will have problem, because the concept of sustainability in terms of, say, green or green management, whatever, will be more like box ticking rather than because it serves a very particular and important purpose. All the more in the context of the changing environment in this world, not only with regards to physical environment, but also with regards to the environment regarding human existence, consumerism, and all the other aspects of what we call profit-based organizations. So you see there is a tension here between environment and profit. The normal idea is that we should invest in the green technology in order for us to be ahead of others in the future, in the long run. But I think this needs to be associated with development of the human person. We cannot protect the planet just by exhausting people. We cannot sustain organization just by ignoring human capabilities, because human beings have potential, unlike other resources. Human beings need to develop. Human beings require the ability to increase their capabilities. But if we do not look at human beings from the top right to the lowest level as having that human capabilities, human judgment, and capacity to think in the long run, then our sustainability efforts will be wasted, because it will be regarded as normal kind of task. Yeah, so I think we need to think seriously about human capability, about human dignity, and human resilience before we can actually join them together with green HRM. So green HRM is good, but it's necessary, but it is not sufficient until and unless we link the green HRM with human capability, with human dignity, and human resilience. So we need to think of sustainability as having two facing pillars. The first one is the environmental stewardship. We need to have green HRM practices to support environmental stewardship. And this is also linked together with eco-conscious behavior. So we need people in the organizations to have eco-conscious behavior. So behavior comes from values. It's not something that comes from
Professor
policy.
Syed, I will remind you that the time 2 minutes more.
Okay. And the second pillar is human capability stewardship. We need to have human resources in the organizations who are able to learn and develop, who think about longevity, about well-being, about ethical judgment. We need to also have the ability to work together with AI to complement their effort. So therefore, green HRM without human capability stewardship becomes fragile. Human capability stewardship without environmental responsibility becomes irresponsible. So I think at the center of what we are going to discuss, in this webinar is organizational sustainability, where you have on the one side, which is the planet, the green HRM, and on the other side, you have people, human capability HRM. Remove either side and the system will collapse. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much, Professor Syed Abdul Hamid Aljunid, for his speech. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the main agenda of this conference, we would like to have photo session and would like to ask all participants to turn on the camera and give your best smile.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, first screen. The second screen. The third screen. The fourth screen. The fifth screen. The sixth screen. The seventh screen. The eighth screen. The ninth screen. The 10th screen. Okay, good. Thank you for all of the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, now we arrive to the main agenda of this international conference.
We'll start at 10 o'clock.
Now, the title is Green Human Resources Management and Ethical Talent Development Towards Sustainable Organization Impact. Before we begin, I would like to explain the rule of today's conference. The conference has one session, and the session will involve the three guest speakers delivered by our guest speaker, and then please make sure your cellular phones are on silent or mute and stay for the duration of the conference, as we will provide holistic understanding and the theme of the conference. We encourage you to participate the question and answer or Q&A at the end of the presentation, and keep your question briefly and to the point. The question can be written in the chat room and will be read by the moderator, or you can raise your hand and ask directly to the guest speakers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce the moderator of the conference, Dr. Taswanda Taryo, MSc, a senior lecturer of the Magister Management Program, Universitas of Pamulang. And I would like to read his short curriculum vitae. Dr. Taswanda Taryo, MSc, in 1981, his bachelor from Fisik Institute Teknologi Bandung, and in 1991, his Master of Science in Chemical Engineering, University of New Brunswick, Canada, and in 2003, his Doctor from Computer Engineering from Gajah Mada University. His experience as national representative to lots of foreign countries, to nuclear and energy expertise, and speakers at national and international seminar and conference. Dr. Taswanda Taryo, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Good morning. Here we go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum again warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, thank to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that who has given us the faith and iman, and also our greeting is given to our Rasul, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ladies and gentlemen, before the panel presentation that I will lead probably about the following 2 hours, first of all, I would like to thank very much to firstly the Honorable Chairman Sasmita Jaya, Foundation Dr. Pranoto S.A., MM, the Honorable Rector of the University of Pamulang, Dr. A. Nurzaman, IMM, MSc, Honorable Vice Rectors of the University of Pamulang, Dean and Director of the University of Pamulang, Head of Study Program of the University of Pamulang, and my all beloved participants who are all present this time to attend the International Conference on Management of Science 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, so the panel session of International Conference of Management of Science in 2025 will be coming in some minutes. Before the presentation begin, please allow me to read all curriculum vitae for our distinguished speakers. Number 1 is Professor Dr. John Walsh, Doctor of Philosophy from University of Creek, Thailand. Number 2, Professor Dr. Junerey P. Baladhay, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. And the last, Professor Dr. Hazman Samsudin from University of Malaysia, Terengganu. So the topic of today is really, as I mentioned by the Master of Ceremony previously, the green human resource management and ethical talent development, with the special topic toward sustainable organizational impact. So, please, ladies and gentlemen, actually I already had this curriculum vitae to condense from 8 pages to 2 pages. That's why I would like maybe to tell everybody here, not in detail, but in general. So the name is Professor John Walsh. He is Associate Dean and Director of English Language Program, International College, Creek University. And so qualification, I would like to tell here that Professor Walsh in 1997 had Doctor of Philosophy. So, and after that, also in 1986, he got Bachelor of Art honorary from English Language and Literature University of Hull, United Kingdom. There are so many positions actually he had. That's why probably I would like to say in short, for example, like as I mentioned before, he currently Dean and Director, English Language Program, International College Creek, University, Thailand, and also Professor Wo, responsible for the BBA, MBA and DBA classes taught in English language, and also is the editor of the Asian Journals of Research. It's also responsibility for creating partnership with relationship all over the world, and also is responsible for managing QS World University Ranking Project. And there are so many posts has been earned by Professor Walsh. Lecturer Senior Programmer, and then as Senior Program Manager, and also he has endeavored so many countries he mentioned here, for example, like Vietnam, Sudan, and then Germany, and then the other countries. And also he is currently supervising the 4 PhD students, Sinarwati University, various MBA dissertation students supervised and now graduated. Really, a lot of project job had been earned by him, but previously he lived and worked in, I mentioned before, Sudan, Greece, South Korea, Australia, and United Arab Emirates, and also other countries. Okay, so in the last, I would like to say again that Professor Walsh is the editor for all international journals from 2012 till now. For example, one of those editor of Asian Journal of Research, 2023 up to now. And also he already published about 6 books of edited book, and I would like to tell the newest one is was done with the title Business Ethics, the Competitive Advance of Trust and Reputation. And also he already published about 4 books from 2008 until 2015. And also, he also supervised the PhD student graduating under supervision from 2009 until 2024 with the total of 22 students, and all of them already published in Scopus listed journal. So that's all, the curriculum vitae for Professor Walsh. Now I would like to continue about the speaker 2, Professor Dr. Junerey Baladhay from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. He is a senior leader and educator whose career bridges the corporate and academic world. He is currently site director of Teleperformance, the Philippines, where he has over 18 years of leadership experience in business process outsourcing. And I would like to tell here everybody, his track record includes achieving 5 consecutive years of perfect client satisfaction rating, earning him the prestigious Circle of Excellence Award in 2024. And also I would like to tell here, instead of he already earned the doctor, he is now is studying for the doctor in sustainability at the University of the Philippines Open University. I'm very sure that he will be graduating in the following years. And he got the Master of Education Management from Polytechnic University of Philippines, 2016. And also he got the Bachelor of Science in Real Estate Management, 2025. Dr. Baladhay continues to champion initiative of green human resource management, ethical talent development, then environment, social, and governance integration. For today, he will deliver the presentation with the title Human Resource as Custodian of ESG Accountability. So ladies and gentlemen, be patient. I would like to tell the last curriculum vitae from Professor Hazman Samsudin, which is from the University of Malaysia, Terengganu. Professor Hazman Samsudin, now he earned the title of Director, Blue Economy Advancement Center, or we say Beacon. In short, Professor Samsudin has been appointed as a research fellow, advisor, subject matter expert, journal editor, think tank committee member, and guest lecturer at other institutions. So one of them, he already earned guest lecturer in Indonesia, University of Pajajaran in Bandung, and also University of Sakwala in Aceh. Most recently, Professor Hazman was appointed as director in the Blue Economy Advancement OEMT Beacon, where he lead effort to advance both the university and the nation blue economy agenda. So he already earned about 8 top awards from 2003 until 2023. For example, like 2003, he got Vice Chancellor Award from University Putra Malaysia, and he got award 2023 UMT Exceptional Award because he has a lot of public publication, and also he got the Vice Chancellor Exceptional Award again in 2023. Research interests: finance, international economic, blue economic, economic valuation, macroeconomic, development economic, tourism, and transdisciplinary research. lecturing subject, finance banking, monetary economic, until the microeconomic and managerial economic. And he is included to postgraduate student with each index. And now his supervision about master 3 student, PhD 7 student, and also professional appointment advisory role. He got a lot of project and job, such finance executive, lecturer, assistant director, etc. And for the last, here we go. So he got the intellectual property with the amount of the intellectual properties. A publication 2016 onward until 2020, there are something like 49 papers, and all of them has been published in Scopus. Grant and consultation from 2016 to 25 with the amount of 1.6 million ringgit. Professional development 20, leadership 8, and also he got the 3 referees from Dr. Ibrahim bin Muhammad, Chairman University of Tun Hussein on Malaysia. Number 2, Professor Dr. Izan Ibrahim as the Department of Finance, College Administration. And the last, Professor Dr. Muhammad Abi Shopan bin Halim as the Faculty of Business, Economic and Social Development. So ladies and gentlemen, there is all the CVs for all speakers. And now our session will be coming in a minute. Well, I would like to invite Professor Dr. John Walsh. Please, now is your session. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is John Walsh. I'm now the Dean of British International College here at Krook University in sunny Bangkok in Thailand. I'd like to begin by thanking the organisers for giving me the opportunity to speak to you here today. So I'm going to share my screen, I think. All right, jolly good. So hopefully you can now see.
Yes, I can see it. Please go on,
Good.
Professor.
Right, let me just put it on 2.
Please make in slide show, please.
Okay, so today I would like to address you on the subject of the competitive advantage of ethical behavior. So this is in line with the intention of the conference, and it's a subject which I have been thinking about a little bit recently. As the professor mentioned, one of my more recent books was an edited volume of papers on ethical behavior and competitive advantage, and so this is the kind of the basis of the subject that I'm going to speak to you here today. So when we think about ethical behavior in business, in general, it doesn't have a good reputation. In general, companies tend to think that ethical behavior is something which is a luxury, a thing which they might be able to do at a time when business is good, but it can be dispensed with if anything problematic comes along. We follow, or other people do follow, what Milton Friedman said: the business of business is business. So in other words, business should only be focused on making a profit. Everything else is extraneous and can be deleted when required. This is in contradiction now with current thinking, I think, in most people now, after the United Nations in particular introduced the polluter pays principle. So when I was growing up, we had terrible tragedies like the Union Carbide gas release in Bhopal, after which there was some attempt to prosecute the people involved, people who were responsible, but with only limited success. And this is because it was felt at the time that the negative externalities, for example, pollution and so on, which caused by business, would be solved by social means. The government would be responsible for looking after these kinds of things. As long as people were making a profit, then that's all they needed to care about. But these days now, this is no longer considered acceptable. Instead, there is a need for business to look after its own negative externalities and to pay the price when required. So as I say, there is a feeling for example, around the UN Compact, which was an attempt to ensure that business would behave in an ethically responsible manner. But it was at a cost. It was a time when businesses would think, well, we do this when it doesn't hurt us, when there is nobody maybe causing any problem. But if there was a danger to the bottom line, then we would eliminate this fairly quickly. And we've seen this in Thailand, for example, where there is a natural disaster. Companies are keen to lend their names to providing aid and so forth. But when the disaster goes away, when the problem is, alleviated to some extent, then the companies back away and it's no longer required for them to do anything. So it's a thing which can be done as a kind of a luxury. We see in other countries, so when I have been to India, and also Nepal, India and Nepal are the countries where I have felt people are most spiritually aware. There's some countries in my experience where there is most spirituality in management in particular. This has a tendency towards becoming paternalism. The idea is that the boss, usually a man, but can be a woman, but in India very commonly a man, would say, well, you are my employees, so I will look after you. You don't have to worry about anything. I am a good person, so I will look after you. And this shades into paternalism very often. In terms of corporate social responsibility, this again has a tendency to become greenwashing. I think with many companies, it is necessary now to put up a patina of respectability when it comes to ethics without necessarily having to follow through on any detailed policies and so forth. So in general, when we look at the background of ethics in business, it's not a very welcoming sight. Right? There's a tendency for people to think that it's a thing that they need to do from time to time, and that when they do that, then they can get away from their obligations fairly quickly. Okay, so let's look at a different approach to ethics and one which informs my thinking in this subject. So we start with Hegel, who of course is a good place to start with most things. His concept of Sittlichkeit, the ethical life, a life which is informed by the need to make a difference in the world. So I reject the Kantian absolutist position that there are things which are absolutely right and we must follow them whatever the cost or whatever the circumstances. Instead, we look to a position where ethical behavior is formed by the need to transform the earth and transform society. So we're living in a time of global climate emergency. I think everybody, well, in addition to all the other problems that the world is having, like genocides and murders and wars and so forth, it is necessary for us and also necessary in our business lives to try to change things, to make them better. And so Hegel said that ethics are embodied in living institutions. So in other words, family, community, the state, all of these things are places, situations, circumstances in which we can make a difference through ethical behavior by deciding what it is that we want to do and in accordance with what society would require from us, and then finding the way to behave accordingly. So true freedom, according to him, is living in accordance with rational will, and that is manifested in the institutions of the state. So in other words, we can be part of a wider society, a wider social structure, which is aimed at improving the situation of the world, and we can be part of this, we can shape it, and we can in turn be shaped by it. From Hegel, I move to Gramsci. Gramsci says, ethical values are shaped by social and historical context. So again, what people mean by, for example, common sense. Common sense is often said to be the thing which we should follow, but common sense is little more than a set of prescriptions learned by the age of 18 and has no particular or no necessarily ethical component or innately good ethical component. It is based on what other people have said in the past and how people have behaved in historical contexts. What we need to do, therefore, according to Gramsci, is to make ethical progress through collective transformation. We see the way that the world is, and we see the world as we would like it to be, as he has said very famously, pessimism of the intellect, optimism of the will. We see the world in all its problems, but we feel that we can make it better if we find the right way of dealing with other people and creating a social context in which transformation is possible. So we must challenge the existing hegemony of ethical behavior with the existing moral values and find the new moral values that challenge the old order and bring to pass the new ethical order that we would like to see in the future. So what would this require from thought to action? So a Hegelian Gramscian approach to comparative business ethics would include rational institutions, so organizations, rules, regulators, which behave in a way that is congruent with the betterment of society. So we must understand what we want to do with society and therefore find the ways that we can change it, and change it we will through institutions. So in other words, we reject the idea that people are individuals, the kind of Anglo-Saxon individualism, and we embrace the idea that, as I think Hillary Clinton once wrote, it takes a village to raise a child. In other words, we don't do things alone. We are part of society, and rather than bemoaning this fact, we should rejoice in it. We can have the opportunity to work with other people, to join with them, and collectively to try to improve the world. We do this by creating organizations which are working in the way that we would want them to work, such that the society is improved as a result. So in my time, we have people have successfully challenged no longer accepted norms. So I was thinking the other day, well, in the 1970s in the UK, it was very common to come across racism, misogyny, discrimination in the mass media in a way that no longer is accepted today, or at least not by most people. It does seem that there is a brand of person, Donald Trump, who would like to bring back the days of racism, misogyny and discrimination. But I think most people, the majority of people now reject these ideas and accept that people are people. Each person has their own value, and we should rejoice in the fact that there is difference in the world. We draw strength from diversity. We draw strength from joining together, whoever we may be. So we are building ideas to bring about a new paradigm of understanding, a new world order in which our rational ideas and our rational organizations, institutions are helping to bring about this collective new transformation, paradigmatic change. So how does this work? What is the central mechanism to bring this about? It is through transaction costs. So the transaction cost approach says that the better I know somebody, the less time I have to spend checking up on them, essentially. So if you have somebody you trust very well, then you don't have to keep following them around and checking that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. If you distrust somebody, then you spend more time making sure that they are doing what they are contracted to do. As a result, business is more expensive with people you don't trust. The converse is business with people you do trust is cheaper because you have spent less time on insurance, less time on quality assurance, less time on checking up on people, less time on every aspect of business contractual deals. So it's the reason why many people, especially in Asia, East Asia and Asia generally, prefer to do business with their family members. It's a bit different in the UK because we don't really trust our family members more than anybody else. But I know that in most parts of Asia, this is a different story. And people do trust their family members and do want to do business with them. So trust is the critical feature, therefore. It takes time to build trust. We do it through 100 acts every day, 100 little acts of behaving properly and not trying to cheat other people or lie to other people or take shortcuts, but becoming trusted to do the right thing. We think back to the concept of the panopticon. The panopticon is the instrument within a prison which can see every aspect of what people are doing and saying and thinking at all times. And when people become used to the idea that somebody is watching us at all times, then the panopticon no longer needs to be manned, right? There doesn't need to be anybody in it actually observing, because people have come to the idea that they must must be behaving in the proper way at all times. I was brought up as a Catholic. I don't know if there are any other Catholic people here. I think we are professor from the Philippines, maybe. We were told as Catholics that God is watching everything that we do and can also tell everything that we are thinking. So therefore, you have to behave properly and think properly at all times. And therefore, this is why you come to behave in the required manner. So obedience because of being watched. Well, trust has some similarities with this. We behave the way that we do, but not because of fear of going to hell or the promise of going to heaven, jam tomorrow, all that kind of thing. We behave properly in business because we know that there is an advantage to us in doing so. We will establish and maintain trust and establish relationships more commonly, more easily, and more successfully if we behave in a proper ethical manner. So trust takes time to build, but once it's built, you reach a plateau of understanding. The other side is no longer going to check up on you, and you can reap the competitive advantage of lower transaction costs. Conversely, trust can be broken in an instant, which is one act of bad behavior, and trust can disappear, and then it takes a long time to re-establish the reputation, re-establish the trust. We have seen in cases where businesses have behaved badly or bad things have happened to businesses that these days they immediately act to restore their reputation. So when, for example, there was a case where a sparkling water company, some ill-intentioned person had threatened that they had poisoned some bottles of water that this company was selling. They immediately withdrew all the bottles from every store and said that they would all be destroyed and that they would be replaced with good, proper products. This is an example of how re-establishing trust at whatever the cost is good business, because the relationships with stakeholders, customers, other businesses and so forth is of more importance than short-term profit. So thinking about how in the future we will be making profits, making a good established competitive relationships with our stakeholders takes precedence over a short-term gain. So what are the benefits of this? So first of all, it means that relationships are stronger and so costs reduce and profit increases. Therefore, even in bad times when everybody's facing difficulties, it still makes more sense to retain a strong relationship rather than break it to try to cut immediate loss. Because if we're thinking in a good long-term perspective, then profits will return sooner or later. Consumers place value on a good reputation. We know from numerous studies that these days especially, people will back a brand that they love and a brand that they trust. Trust and love are not quite the same thing, but they are kind of connected, correlated. So if we have good reputation, we can be more likely to be loved by at least some of our customers. Custom companies which are perceived to have a good reputation perform better in stock markets. Again, research in the USA and elsewhere has shown that companies which do have a good reputation tend to have higher values and to perform better, both when times are good and when times are not so good. And so it makes for a competitive advantage that separates some companies from others, obviously. Recruitment of talent, especially younger people, is a lot easier when the company is reputable. So we know, for example, from our students, if we ask them, who do you want to work for, in places where working for international, multinational companies is possible, there is a small list of companies where people want to work. And this is either because they are cool in some way, or they have some good promotional benefits, or they have a good reputation. Reputation is always a good thing for encouraging young people to join you. Finally, employees and stakeholders have higher morale when working for a company which is performing well and is performing in the interests of all of its stakeholders. We know that the basic rule of business is either do something better or do something cheaper. You can choose exactly one of these strategies. You don't need to do two, you don't need zero, you need one of them. And if you have a choice, do something better, because people, your employees, will be happier and more content working to provide good goods and services rather than cheap goods and services. working on the cheap is not good for employee morale, it's not good for customer morale, it's not good for, it's a viable strategy and many people are doing it. Of course they are, but if you have a choice, choose to work at a place which has a better reputation, people will be happier. There is an ethics premium. I think this has now become fairly well established in the research. Companies which do, as I say, have a reputation for behaving well and actually do behave well, have a premium in share price. And whether you are beholden to the American shareholder value model or you want to see something more inclusive, more of a triple bottom line and so forth, there is a measurable increase in performance. And so this is not something that which you can ignore. So the conclusion is behave in a good way, not because it is necessary to behave in a good way, not because of fear, not because of love, but because it is actually profitable. And so therefore, irrespective of the situation or the circumstances, no matter whether they're good or bad, behaving ethically brings the lower transaction costs and therefore higher competitive advantage compared to other companies. And so that is what I want to say to you today. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to hearing the other professors speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Walsh, for the very interesting presentation, amazing presentation. Now, I would like to invite all participants. Maybe you can raise your hand. If you don't want to do that, maybe you can write in the chat box. So either you can deliver in Indonesia or in English, so that would be good. Okay, Muhammad Sofan, and after the Rico and Andy. Okay, please Muhammad Sofan, please make question direct and short. Yeah, because probably I would like to let everybody else to deliver the question. Please, Muhammad Sofan, please.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is, how can HR leaders effectively shift this mindset and embed green criteria into hard HR metrics, such as compensation or performance appraisals, so it becomes a daily habit rather than just a slogan? Thank you very much.
So there needs to be a coherent and consistent organizational culture, right? This is the heart of it. It's only going to work if everybody really believes in the integrity of everybody or the major people in the organization, that they are committed to ethical behavior of the sort I have outlined and wish to embed it in a daily practice. So in part, this is from everyday management, okay? The everyday treatment of other people on the one hand, and on the other hand is designing systems and institutions that will reflect or give the opportunity for functions like HR to demonstrate that this level of integrity on a day-to-day basis. So if I draw the example from the place where I'm working at today, where you'll keep this to yourself, but the HR department is not very friendly or helpful, as a result, it damages relationships across the whole university, especially in a university like ours, where we teach in 4 languages, which makes communication a problem. If we were to start again, we would begin with meaningful strategy sessions, which would outline what it is that we want to achieve and that everybody will be encouraged to buy into. And if there people don't want to do that, then we can replace them with people who do. So it's a both everyday management issue, I think, and also long-term designing of systems and methods that bring about the desired results.
You are satisfied with the answer from Professor Walsh, yeah? If you have further question, please deliver him by email, yeah? So I have an email to you. Oh, Professor Walsh, please allow me to deliver your CV to everybody here, yeah? Using a chat box.
Yes,
it's okay? That's great.
Yes.
Okay, for the following question coming from Mr. Andy Rianto, please. Don't forget to open your mic, please.
Okay. My My question is, Professor, could you please explain how green human resource management and ethical talent development influence the economic sustainability of organization and contribute to broader economic growth? Thank you.
So how can HR or the HR function contribute to sustainability and economic growth, right? Okay, so so on a day-to-day, so I'm going to again divide into the daily practice and the long-term thinking. So day-to-day, it's about delivering HR services in a way that convinces employees and other stakeholders that integrity and empathy and compassion are being employed in day-to-day decisions. So if I go to HR and I say, I have a faculty member who is unwell and cannot attend today, am I going to get up with the HR going to say, okay, we will make allowances, or are they going to make a fuss and say, oh no, they have to come to work and show their face and all that kind of thing? So in part, it's fostering a good and healthy lifestyle within the company, and secondly is planning for the future. So thinking to help it or being part of the process where it says, okay, we have now people who have this set of skills here. In 5-10 years time, what are the people that we're going to need? What are the skills that are going to be needed then? And then we think to ourselves, well, can our current people achieve those skills, or do we have to start planning for hiring new people who have the skill set and which will be beneficial to the company, and then asking those people who don't have the skill set, they have to evolve or move to a different kind of situation. So again, my answer is similar to the first one, which is a combination of daily practice and long-term thinking.
You happy, Andy, with it, right? Okay, if you have any more question, please come again, yeah, on the stage. Miss Emilia, would you like to give a question to Professor Walsh, please? Emilia? Hello? Please open your mic, please. No? Yeah, Professor Walsh, as I saw from the chat bot here, I would like to ask question. His name is Sugiarto, and how can performance appraisal and reward system be redesigned to effectively recognize incentive, pro-environmental behavior, and contribution among Gen-Z employees using both financial and non-financial reward?
Okay, a complex question.
Complex question. I'm very sure you can answer your question. You are professor.
Okay, so there are several components to this. One is at the end you talk about financial and non-financial incentives, and I quite agree that both of these are required. It's necessary. So in a university, for example, we have kind of perverse incentives for people to become promoted. So now that I am a dean, I spend a lot of my time doing kind of administrative work and meetings and strategies and such like, and I have less time to do the research and writing, which I have, which I've spent most of my career doing. And so if you want to give me an incentive, not necessarily money, but time. On the other hand, my junior faculty need a defined career path, which can, with which I can kind of encourage them to stay with us for 10, 15 years. Okay, how can HR appraisal do that? So our current appraisal system, university appraisal system, for example, values things like attendance, ethical behavior, but without defining what ethical behavior is, basically being a good corporate employee by not questioning what is going on. Whereas, as I have said, from a Hegelian Gramscian perspective, I would want everybody to be part of transforming the organization into a better place, and a place which contributes to national development, which is in Thailand, dean like myself is required by the law to contribute to national development. So I'm thinking of ways whereby we can redesign the university to be a place for Thailand of the future and for citizens of the future to be able to contribute. So in this case, it's a question of how can we redesign the curriculum to deliver the skills of the future. How can we change the nature of the relationship between stakeholders and the students and the faculty? How can we reconsider how all of these things work together in a transformative way to achieve the goals that we want? Now, HR is, of course, a part of this in terms of supporting what we want to achieve and also helping to bring it about by focusing on rewarding the behavior that we like and encouraging the kind of employees, the faculty and so forth of the future to have the skills and the empathy, the compassion that we think is necessary within a university setting. So it's a contribution to the whole. HR in itself is a vital function, but it's part of an overall system which we would like to see as being transformative in nature, while not forgetting the needs of the students. Right, students still have to graduate while we are transforming into something else. We still have to give them the basics to make sure.
Right.
So it's a combination of managing all these different things at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, Professor, I think today you are very popular, you know. When I saw from my chatbot, a lot of questions delivered to you. So this, her name is Elvira Nozan. Good morning, Professor. My name is Elvira from the Finance Mission. How to build real and sustainable business advantage through ethics when the surrounding culture often reward unethical behavior. This guys as social norm example is so nepotism and meritocracy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's difficult. So that we know the principle, right? So the principle is to behave in a trust building and relationship building way and so forth. But when we see other people benefiting from doing the opposite or taking shortcuts and so on, it's very dispiriting, and a lot of people would give up or would compromise their ethics and so forth. It's a long and hard road to where what we want to achieve. There are no easy shortcuts. Well, unless you're born rich or you're born the nephew of the president or something, which you see your life is a lot easier than other people. But otherwise, it's just it's making daily habits, good habits, repeatable habits, habits which are constituent of a transformative overall approach. And it won't always succeed. We know in business that 80% of business is going to fail within 2 years anyway. So it's not a guarantee of success, but it is a way which I think that on the occasions when I'm able to behave in a university that functions in the way I would like it to function, then when I go home at night, I feel a lot better than if I feel that we have, it's somehow ripped off the students or done something cheap or not underperformed. So there is that behavioral element to it as well. Okay, we want to feel good about what we are doing. If we are working hard and not necessarily being successful, at least we can feel like we've done a good job and we've done something worthwhile at the end of it. Whereas I'm not sure how some of these people sleep at night.
Right. So, Professor, there are still a lot of questions. You are very favorite this morning, so I think you're ready to answer question. So my name is Lana. The question is, to what extent do viral incidents expose the gap between the company's carefully curated public ethical image or ethic washing and its real world internal human resource practices and ethical talent management?
Yeah, this is an issue. One person with one single act can undo a huge amount of relationship building, a huge amount of expensive relationship building. So one person with Facebook or other social media with opinions which are contrary to what the company would like to observe can cause all of this problem. should we therefore sanction people who behave in this way? Should we try to distance ourselves from them? I think in general, this is a thing which is still being worked out, I think, in companies. A situation occurred in my university, my faculty, a year or so ago, when this kind of thing did take place. It was internal, but it had the capacity of becoming a problem. And the university disciplinary system required those people to leave immediately, whether it was beyond my ability to affect. And I think that this is an approach that companies probably will be taking for the next few years as we come to grapple with the fact that pretty much every person in the world has the ability to tell a story using social media, which can become viral, which contradicts what the company is trying to do. I don't feel entirely comfortable with the idea that all of our employees should behave in the way we would like them to behave all the time, whether at work or not. But I think it is unavoidable that if employees or other stakeholders behave in a way which we now consider unacceptable, so if they were racist, for example, or sexist or discriminatory in some way, then we would no longer want to be associated with them. And I think that's the way things are standing at the moment. It's not an ideal situation. Maybe we will evolve a different way of dealing with this kind of thing, but at the moment I don't see a better alternative.
If you don't mind, I would like to deliver the old question to you by email. So do you mind? I don't think so. Yeah,
No,
probably I would like to ask you a question. I'm to give the lecture for artificial intelligence. So now AI is coming around us, I'm very sure. And somebody tell me that probably the ultimate AI, something like godlike AI, will be coming very soon, maybe 2030 or 2040. So how the ethical still very important to make sure that AI is still in the on the right track, for example. To meet with the norm, to meet the ethical for each country, for example, all over the world. Thank you.
All right, so on the one hand, I have to admit that I don't know the answer to this question. On the other hand, I can say, well, nobody knows the answer to this question. So we are struggling with AI here. Within the last year, so a year ago, it was not. I didn't conceive it as a problem. Suddenly, a number of students have got the idea that they can answer any question by using AI, and so therefore there's no need for them to learn anything anymore, right? They just ignore what the lecturers have to say. So this is problematic. We need to re-inscribe a culture of learning, I think, which benefits people and that they can see the benefit of learning and understanding things. And we may have to reassess many of the things that we do, assessment in particular, to take account of the fact that AI is an everyday part of people's lives. It's a part of my admin team's lives, it's a part of my faculty's life. I can't just say, well, you shouldn't be doing this kind of thing, because people are doing it. So we have to account for the fact that it changes a great many things. And the way that we teach, the way that we expect students to learn, what we expect students to learn and so forth, is going to be radically restructured. And whether that's for good or not for good remains to be seen. I'm old enough to remember when calculators were first introduced into schools, and people then were saying, well, if we have calculators, allow kids to have calculators, they'll no longer be able to do multiplication or long division in their head. Calculators came in, and now people can't do those kind of sums in their head. My daughter, for example, cannot do even simple maths or arithmetic without using a calculator. When mobile phones came in, people said, well, I know a lot of long numbers, I can remember this number and that number. People will lose the ability to remember. Mobile phones came in, and now people can't remember numbers, right? If I asked you, any of you in the audience, you probably remember your own telephone number. Can you remember the numbers of like 2 or 3 other people? Maybe not. There's no need to do it anymore.
Yes.
And perhaps AI will be the same. Perhaps people don't need to learn how to write an essay. Perhaps people don't need to do the things that we have been doing until now. Okay, that's fine. But what do we bring in instead? And how can we tell whether what we bring in instead is going to be good for the long run? So in the whole, It's uh, it's something which is too complex for us to be able to answer at the moment. We have some discussions going on, and we hope to be able to reach answers in the future. But at the moment, it's
Okay.
too difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Walsh. So I would like to say again, thank you very much because of the time. So I'm on behalf of the organizing committee of the ICOM 25. Would like to thank very much again for your amazing, powerful presentation this morning. Again, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the speaker one, and in the following session, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Junerey Baladhay from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Professor Baladhay, are you there?
Hello, good morning. How are you
Oh,
able
good
to hear
morning.
me?
So very nice
Good
to
morning.
see you.
morning,
That's
sir.
good. So as I thought before that you are very young, huh? I'm much older than you. Don't worry. Okay.
Thank you.
Please.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen and see if you guys.
Okay, please. That's good. So, right. 25, 30 minutes. So, and after that, question will be coming to you. Thank you. Please.
All right. I'm actually sharing my presentation. Let me know if it goes full screen.
Yes. I
Okay.
saw it.
All right. Okay, good morning, everyone, and I hope that everybody's still energetic and it's really very insightful. And I love, Dr. Walsh talk. I really learned a lot from him as well. So today I'm going to be talking about maybe new to some of you and something that's already an existing knowledge. So it actually depends on how
It's very new
you're
for
going to be
me.
taking it. Oh, new. Okay, well, that's good. This is actually one of the things that we do in our organization, ESG. And I thought that it's going to be worthwhile to share it as well to the academics, in a more of research-based community, because I actually play dual roles. Okay, while I'm part of the academe, I'm also part of the corporate world, wherein I played a role as site director in our organization, and we actually put into actual practice what I teach in the university and what I do in our company in our workplace. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about a topic which, again, something may not be, so familiar to you or something that's already an old knowledge to you. So I'm just going to ask you a question real quick. If you hear the word or the term ESG, what is the first word that comes to your mind? Okay. Well, I'm not putting these answers to you, but actually I talked to some people, I've heard a few things. Somebody would say, is it a report? Okay. Or maybe compliance or risk, values, investors. Okay. Maybe you have the same answers too. Okay. I actually would like, to hear from the, from the participants, but in the interest of time, I'm just gonna go over and put the answers on your behalf. Okay. So if you answered the same answers that I gave, like report, compliance, risk, values, and investors, okay, you know what? I'm going to thank you because the range of answers is exactly why this talk or topic, matters. Okay. So today I'm going to be talking about a central idea. Okay. It's about ESG that doesn't actually succeed because, we write good reports, ESG succeeds because we build a culture that lives in the report. What I'd like for you to think about is that, okay, there is a quote, okay, from Peter Drucker, very, very popular person, right? Okay, if you are in the School of Management, you would have already read some of his work. Okay. He says culture eats strategy for breakfast. Okay. So whether you work in the academe or in the government or industry, you've probably seen this. So you can have the best strategy. Okay. For example, the ESG strategy included. But if the culture doesn't support it, the strategy becomes performance, not a practice. Okay. So if you're part of an organization, even outside the academy, let me ask you this. Okay. In your company or organization, ESG is currently seen mostly as what? Is it a compliance or reporting requirement? Or a branding or reputation tool that you tell the world, hey, we have ESG in our company? Or Is it a risk management tool or a culture or value system? Or maybe not yet clear or still emerging? Well, interestingly, okay, whatever your organization selected, today's talk that I'll deliver to you is actually designed to help move ESG toward culture, okay, and values, because that's actually where sustainability becomes doable and durable at the same time. Okay. Now let me go to the next slide. So let's briefly ground this in the current reality of ESG. Okay. Now we talk about investors, we talk about customers, regulators, and even talent increasingly use ESG as a filter for trust. Okay. ESG is actually tied to risk. Okay. It's tied to resilience. It's access to capital. And organizations with stronger ESG practices often demonstrate stronger crisis resilience. But here's the part that connects to HR. Many ESG failures are people system failures. What are these people system failures? Okay. There's the unfair recruitment and promotions. It happened, in our organization, it happened in our country, in the Philippines, and I'm pretty well sure it also takes place in Indonesia, in Malaysia, and even in the US or Canada. Okay. Weak employee voice mechanisms. People aren't heard. People aren't given the chance to speak up. Unmanaged workload or burnout. There's just a lot in the play that I can't really, do it anymore. And tolerance for unethical leadership. And lastly, poor governance around data privacy and retaliation. There are actually many researches that we can look at. Deloitte has it. Okay. Journal of Sustainable Finance has it in 2021. And even MSCI has it in 2020. Okay. These papers, peer-reviewed publications, okay, actually talked about it and just putting into the framework of what ESG is, why it really matters. And so yes, okay, ESG includes carbon, it includes water, it includes energy, but ESG also includes fairness, it includes dignity, trust, and integrity. And those are deeply human. Okay. Now, let's talk about ESG as a human framework. Okay. This is our pivot. ESG as a human framework. Let's talk about environmental here. Okay. Environmental, when you talk about sustainability, the first idea that crosses our mind is environment. So when you say environmental, how we reduce harm and improve efficiency. Okay. And for social, how do we protect people, their dignity, and the community impact? And for governance, how do we maintain integrity, transparency, and accountability? Here's a powerful framing, okay, for all of our audience here in the webinar. A significant portion of ESG indicators, especially social and governance, guess what? Are shaped by HR policies and practices. So what if we want ESG credibility? We don't begin with the report. We begin with the employee's life cycle. Okay. So what is HR's central role? Okay. You think of HR as the architect of daily organizational life. Okay. So as HR, you design who gets hired. Okay. You design how people are developed, what gets rewarded, what gets corrected, and how ethics is protected. So here, ESG accountability becomes real when HR asks questions like, what behaviors are rewarded here? Who experiences fairness and who experiences barriers? Where can misconduct hide inside our systems? Are people safe? I mean, physically and psychologically safe to speak up? Okay. So in one phrase, what is the biggest barrier to ESG becoming a culture in your organization? You don't need to answer me right now. Just think about it. Maybe that's something that you can have as your takeaway. Okay. And maybe some of you would have said or would have thought that, it's more of a leadership buy-in. Are my leaders, are the C-levels, are the executives supporting ESG? If you have that, okay, then you're in the right track, right? Because we have here short-term targets, we have lack of metrics, we have competing priorities. These are common, but one thing is also common on all of these. These are solvable as well, okay? So let's take a look at this next slide here about some research and practice, okay? So I'm going to just share with you, okay, some of the papers that are peer-reviewed, okay? Pieces of evidence that I have presented. Feel free to look at them, look them up, okay? And these peer-reviewed pieces of evidence actually remind us the relationship between HR practices and sustainability outcomes, okay? Because it is increasingly supported by research. Let me translate this into practitioner language, okay? So when HR aligns talent systems with sustainability values, your ESG outcomes improve. When HR strengthens fairness and employee voice, trust rises. And when HR reinforces ethical leadership and accountability, governance becomes real, not cosmetic. So in other words, HR is not just implementing ESG. HR is governing ESG through our HR systems. Now, let me take you to the 3 pillars of ESG. Okay. So here's environmental for E, social for S, and G for governance. So when you say environmental, we talk about resource use, we talk about energy, we talk about waste, we talk about efficiency. For social, it is about well-being. Okay. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Fair labor, community impact, these are social. Okay. And for governance, it includes ethics, transparency, accountability, and privacy. So as we go to the next, into green HRM, I want you to keep one sentence in mind. Sustainability becomes scalable when when it becomes rather habitual. Again, let me say that one more time. Sustainability becomes scalable when it becomes habitual. So, and habits, as a reminder, habits are shaped by HR systems. Okay. So let's talk about green HRM now. So green HRM is not a sustainability poster campaign. It's not just about display of whatever you have in your company. Okay. It is HR embedding environmental responsibility. And this goes across recruitment, training, performance, rewards, and day-to-day work design. So I'm going to say a webinar-friendly way to test green HRM can be this. Let me ask you the question. What do you want employees to do differently on a Monday morning? Because you know what you want them to do? The goal here is behavior, something that you can observe, something that you can repeat, and something that you can measure, okay? Now, let's see that recruitment can be the first ESG decision in your organization, okay? An organization makes about a person. So when you hire, you don't only hire the skills. What else do you hire? You hire values, you hire habits, and you hire willingness to act responsibly. Okay. So if you could add one interview question to assess sustainability mindset, what do you think your interview question would be? So you're gonna wear now the hat of a recruiter or an HR, specialist who performs candidate interview. What would be that question you'd like to ask your applicants, your candidate, that would assess the sustainability mindset of your applicants? Okay, take it with you. Okay, have it in your head. Maybe when you go back to your companies and organization, wow, how would I ask the question? Okay, now let's talk about training. What is green training and practices? Okay, training is where sustainability becomes concrete. Okay? It talks about your digital workflows to reduce paper. By show of virtual hands, how many of you here are still using paper in your organization? Okay. Have you not transformed them into a digital workflow so you're reducing the impact on the environment? Okay. What's your process improvement that reduces waste? What are your energy conservation behaviors? And do you provide incentives that are aligned to sustainability goals? So, talking about hybrid and remote work can also contribute to lower commuting impact. Okay. I don't know about, I really don't know a lot about your place or location, but if you have visited Manila, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna tell how bad the traffic condition is. Okay. So hybrid and remote work actually helps contributing to the lower commuting impact, but it also becomes green when we what? Manage equipment life cycle, digital efficiency, and clear work boundaries so well-being is also protected. So this matters because ESG is interconnected, okay? It is a green system that burns people out if it's not sustainable. We've heard a lot. We've read the papers about people getting burnt out while working from home. It is because of a system, okay, that is not properly put in place. Now let's talk about the social pillar. Okay. So we've touched environmental practices. Now we've moved to another pillar that is equally important, okay, social pillar. This is the domain where your influence as HR professionals, okay, is most visible and most measurable. Okay. So I'm just, sharing with you a paper that's also published in 2022, talking about how remote work reduces commuting emissions by 54%. Says up on the screen. So let's talk about the workforce well-being. Okay. Well-being, to me, is not a soft topic. Okay. It's not just one of the common things that you can talk about. It is about performance. It's about retention. And it is a risk topic. Why do I say risk topic? Let's make it real for you. People rarely leave jobs because of one difficult day. So when you had a bad day, will you decide immediately that I'm going to be resigning? I would leave this company? No. Okay. They leave because of sustained exhaustion. Okay? They leave because of unclear expectation, unfair treatment, and perhaps leaders who normalize burnout. So well-being becomes ESG when HR builds systems for workload design, mental health support, psychologically safe leadership, and proactive prevention, not reactive crisis response. Okay. So to those who have joined the Zoom meeting today, I want you to silently complete this sentence, okay? On your mind, okay? You don't need to share it, just on your mind. Okay? This is a sentence that you need to complete. In my company or in my organization, the one practice that looks productive but harms well-being is fill the blank. Okay? Again, let me say it one more time. In my organization, the one practice that looks productive but harms well-being is blank. Okay? Fill that blank. Okay? That blank or gap, okay, between what looks good and what is good is actually where credibility is won or lost. Now, another topic that is, emerging, or maybe it is already in existence in your organization, is diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Okay? DEI becomes meaningful when it's not just a slogan, but a design of opportunity. HR turns DEI into reality through bias-resistant hiring. When you hire, okay, do you control your biases? I'm gonna hire this person because he is an alumnus of University of Pamulang. It's my co-alumnus. I'm gonna give more premium to this person. So bias-resistant hiring, transparent promotion criteria, pay equity reviews, inclusive policies and accommodations, and leader accountability. So if the only diverse thing in the organization is the brochure, then DEI is just cosmetic, okay? DEI must show up in outcomes, representation, fairness, belonging, and advancement. Okay. Please let me know how much time I have left because, I might just go on bubbling and keep on talking. Okay. And consume all my time here. Okay. So now let's talk about ethical recruitment. Okay. Ethical recruitment and labor practices are trust in action. Dr. Walsh talks about trust in organization and universities. Okay. So what is really about recruitment and labor practices? Okay. Do you have transparent job postings? Okay. Honest contracts and expectations? Non-discrimination and anti-nepotism safeguards? What about grievance systems that protect people? And zero retaliation. So if people don't trust the system, they won't speak up. We encourage people to, give us feedback. But if they don't trust your system, would you expect them to give you feedback? Would you expect them to participate in an open dialogue? Maybe not, right? So if they don't speak up, the risks grow quietly until they explode publicly. So the social pillar is also about voice, who can speak and who feels safe when they're speaking. So now let's move to governance, part of our ESG. Okay, it is HR's ethical mandate. So governance is where many organizations struggle because it demands consistency. Governance becomes real through transparent performance management, through fair promotion decisions, through clear accountability for leaders, and strong data privacy practices. In today's world, our digital world, HR holds sensitive data. So data privacy is not only an IT issue, not just IT, it's a governance issue. And we in HR is part of that protective chain. Yeah, let's remember that. Now, ESG is culture. It's not just a report. It's not just a poster, not just, a piece of paper. It is a culture. Yes, this is the centerpiece, okay, of my talk to you. ESG must be lived daily, not published yearly or in a quarter, okay, but lived daily within the organization. So if we're going to do a quick culture audit, okay, and I'm going to be asking you the question, where is the biggest ESG risk in your organization today? I would love to hear the answers, but in the interest of time, maybe you could give the answers for yourselves. And let me just, come up with a few answers that may resonate with you. Okay. Where is the biggest ESG risk in my organization today? Maybe it's about environmental behaviors. There's so much waste, energy, and process. Or maybe it's about well-being and workload sustainability. The workload is not sustainable. People are resigning. Okay. Or maybe it's about DEI and fairness in advancement. Okay. Not everyone is treated equally. Or it can be ethical leadership and accountability. Okay. You're losing trust in your leaders. Or maybe it's about employee voice. Okay. There is fear speaking up. Or maybe something else that I haven't mentioned. So where is the biggest ESG risk in your organization today? Now, here's a principle that I'd like to give you. Where fear lives, ESG is at risk. Fear hides safety issues. Fear hides discrimination. Fear hides misconduct. And fear hides burnout. So, HR's custodian role, not only engagement, okay, it's psychological safety plus accountability, both together. Now, how do you embed ESG in the employee life cycle? So if you want ESG to scale, embed it in your life cycle. So from onboarding tell your hires this is who you are. In your KPIs, the key performance indicators, the metrics by which you measure your employees. This is what you measure. And in your leadership development, tell them this is how you lead. And in terms of rewards, this is what you value. And in terms of consequences, this is what you don't tolerate. So let me share with you this strong line. ESG becomes sustainable when it becomes the default setting, not a special project. Let me say that again. ESG becomes sustainable when it becomes your default setting, not just your special project. So, what are the practical actions that you as HR can start today? What can you do? Well, you know what? In the next 30 days, as part of HR in your organization, you should define maybe, I'm going to say about 5 to 7 ESG behaviors expected at your work. Okay. Maybe just a simple competency framework. Then you can add one ESG item into your performance conversation. You can start small, but you have to be consistent. Then you can have you can run some kind of micro learning, okay? Just short, okay? Repeatable learning bursts, not one-time lectures, okay? Because again, repetition is key, okay? And strengthen employee voice, okay? You have to have pulse checks, grievance protection, safe escalation paths. And finally, you need to create an ESG council, okay? It should be your HR plus your operations plus your finance or your risk teams and your sustainability champion. Okay? Because here's my, practical piece of advice. Don't wait to be perfect. You can't be perfect. We can't be perfect. We are not perfect, okay? Don't wait to be perfect. Start by being consistent. So what's the future of HR in ESG leadership? The future of HR leader must be sustainability literate. Okay? You need to be educated what sustainability is all about. You need to be ethics driven. Okay? Data aware. You're aware of data. You are not just knowledgeable, but a champion, an advocate of
Professor
data privacy.
Baladhay, 5 more minutes. Thank you.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm wrapping up actually. And capable also of translating ESG into systems and habits. Because talent today, they choose employers not only for the salary, but they choose employers for values, for safety, growth, and dignity. So HR is shifting from support function to strategic ESG leader. And I'm calling you to act on this one. So let me close with this, okay? ESG is not just a story an organization tells the world. HR writes the chapters through culture. So not just through slogan, but through your systems. Not through any poster or billboard, but through your protection. And not just through your promises, but through your practice. So don't treat ESG as an annual report. Treat it as a daily habit, okay? Daily practice. And position your HR as the custodian who safeguards that practice through fairness, voice, and integrity. Thank you very much for your time. I don't know if I can pronounce it correctly. Terima kasih. I just Googled it. And thank you for being part of this transformative conversation.
Yeah, thank you much for your amazing presentation. And I saw here a lot of questions, maybe at least 5 or 7 questions. But I'm asking the Dwi, are you ready to deliver question? Please make a short question, but directly. Yeah? Okay. Dwi, are you ready? Please open your mic, please. Dwi? Hello, are you there?
Excuse me, sir. Are you asking me or?
Yeah, no, just somebody else. Her name is Dwi. Dwi, are you questioning?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Hi. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your insightful presentation, Mr. Baladhay. I would like to ask a question. What is the biggest ethical challenge HR faces today in maintaining transparent promotion system? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good question. And you actually use a singular verb there, what is, so I'm going to be answering with just one. But you know what? There is not just one. There are
What
many.
are? Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
What are
yeah.
the
Okay.
biggest ethical challenges HR faces today?
Yes, correct. Okay. Well, when you say if there is an ethical challenge, I'm going to say that it's really about of being fairness because we actually, collected all the pieces of information and took a look at which really is prevalent of all these. One major challenge is being fair because it's human nature. Okay, it's human nature to cling on to something or someone, which may be construed as part of favoritism. So that's really a challenge because as human beings, it's quite challenging. It's quite difficult for us to really divorce ourselves from our personal or human biases. So that's one challenge. And if you would continue with the question is how would you address that? Okay, it actually requires level of expertise, experience, integrity, commitment, and of course competency to really be able to exercise fairness and totally not being biased in the organization. So that's one thing. And if if we can be able to come up to that part where we have already developed, I'm going to say that kind of challenge will no longer be very challenging at all after all. Did that answer the question or you want me to expound more?
Enough.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I will offer, I deliver to other people. Anis, are you ready to deliver question? Yes, Anis, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Junerey. Thank you for the insightful presentation. So I would like to ask because you mentioned about green HR before, and now I'm working as full-time remote job. So how can organization develop strong HR leadership to
Okay.
drive the successful implementation of ESG? So especially for fully remote working environment because that's our challenge right now
Mhm.
because we come from other country from Asia and Europe. So I
Right.
think yeah, it's really good insight for us today. So yeah, just thank you, Mr. Junior.
All right. If I may have understood the question
Would you
clearly,
like to wait for another question? I will invite Riyadi. Riyadi, would you like to deliver question? Andi, I remembered in the previous. No, Riyadi, please. Riyadi, are you there? Riyadi? No? Azrael, please open your mic.
Okay. Thank you for the amazing and inspiring presentation, Doctor. In your discussion, ESG is described as something that must be felt, not just measured. So, in this context, how can HR capture cultural and ethical impact without reducing these complex dimensions to overly simplistic metrics? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, please answer the two questions previously mentioned. Yeah, Professor Baladhay, please.
all right. Thank you for all those amazing questions. Okay. So, if I might have, if I may have captured all your questions correctly, you'd like to find out for the first question is that how to maintain green HR, considering that
Yes.
today's hybrid workforce, wherein there are those working in a brick mortar setup and others are working in remote. And the other one is, I don't quite capture the other one. My memory is
Yes, a lot of
not.
problem around us and how the SG can implement it. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. All right. The first question is about how do we maintain green HR when managing our team that are really remote. Well, we are actually in today's day and age wherein we are being posed with a lot of challenges because back in the day when everything was still within the site, it was already challenging. Now with the addition of remote workplace, it has become more challenging because number one, it is a little difficult to monitor our employees, okay, how to really do well, if they are performing well. Now, it requires, number one, again, a culture, okay, a culture within your organization of trust and mechanism that you have put in place, okay? There is a funny saying, I don't know if it resonates with you. When the cat is away, the mouse will play. Okay. So that is funny because that is very old and that seems to be childish, but you know what? That's really true. Why? Because if somebody is not really monitored, someone is not being watched, that individual may not be really performing well. But if there is a culture of trust and integrity within the organization, plus the mechanism, okay, when I say mechanism, you need to have technology as well. You need to have technology that is put in place that will enable support your employees are working at home, working from anywhere, to perform well. Plus, okay, there is a check and balance between what they do and what they want to do or what you don't want to do. Okay. Well, just for example, in our organization, we have this technology that measures the productivity of our employees. Okay. If our employees cannot commit to their productivity, let's say, for example, there's blackout in our area, there's no power, there's an internet connectivity issue. Well, it's okay for one session or second, but if it keeps on repeating, okay, what we're gonna tell the employees that I think it's about time for you to go back to reporting to the office because we're not able to put our commitment to our productivity. So that's one thing that you have to put in place because if you are enabler as well of how your employee would behave remotely, that is something that you just let them, do their own thing. And of course, with the help of technology, you can monitor, you can look at your metrics that people are really delivering what they are expected to deliver. And when I talked about, HR being the custodian of ESG, what I meant there was that HR safeguards the daily systems that make ESG real. So you start from your hiring standards, your training, your performance management, and even your leadership behaviors, okay, including your employee voice, the grievance process. All of these, okay, will become your measure or yardstick for sustainability. Okay, sustainability team often manage, I'm gonna say most of them are reporting, but HR influences whether your organization consistently behaves in ways that match the report, okay? Especially in the social and governance pillars. If I'm gonna take you back to the triple bottom line of the United Nations in terms of their sustainability report, you should be able to strike the balance among the three stakeholders, okay? Remember the triple E or the triple P? It's either E or P. P for people, planet, and profit. When I say profit, your business of the organization should be profitable, right? You should care about P, planet, or the environment. And of course, give the right amount of wealth, secure employee benefits and welfare as well. Because the triple P, people, planet, and profit, okay? Strike the balance among the three. Or the triple E, okay? Economy, ecology, and what's the other one? Ecology is about the people, economy, and environment, of course, triple E. So being able to strike the balance of the three, the triple bottom line, that's going to speak volumes of being sustainable. So that's just, what sustainability is. So I hope I answered the question.
Okay, I really hope so. Okay, well, Professor Baladhay, there is a question from the chat. Yeah, probably I will give you two questions. I make it in short. The first question is, what SDG issues, for example, mental or whatever, health support, climate action, AI, income, do Gen Z employers prioritize? and what action do they expect companies to take? So I think you get the end, the question. Then number two, so when you consider ESG as environmental, social, and governance, how can HR balance accountability across these three dimensions without emphasizing compliance while neglecting cultural and behavior, etc.? Yeah, I really hope. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I heard that the first question is about have something to do with the Gen Zs. Okay. All right. Well, we are a multi-generational workforce, right? And we need to really understand the differences between and among the gaps of these different generations. Okay, I'm part of millennial group, but I'm an early millennial, and I am now managing more than 3,000 employees in the site, and most of those are Gen Zs. Okay, so if you come to think of it, what do you think are the things that are valuable to Gen Z employees, and how do they behave? Okay, what are the things that they see as valuable to them? Well, if I'm going to talk about more about them, I would be starting in terms of what are important and what can be the contributions of our Gen Zs. Now, what I'd like you to realize here is that how do you build your green behaviors that can be appealing to your employees? Okay? Specifically Gen Z and also other employees as well, other generations. And are you rewarding both outcomes and effort? So that's a question. So are you just rewarding what they do, or you're also rewarding what they have produced?
Yes.
Or what results in what they do? So both the outcomes and effort should be equally recognized and rewarded. And are we using team or individual components? Okay, because some groups can be Gen Z people as well. They respond to a well collective mission, and they set also the team, I'm going to say, echo goal plus individual contributions to just avoid free riding. So another question would be, do you have financial rewards? Are your financial rewards targeted? Are your financial rewards transparent? Okay, because when people start to feel that there is a shady method in rewarding the other employees, then that becomes problematic. That is when people would start losing their trust. Okay, and what about non-financial rewards, if I may speak? Okay, do you consider them as high signal for the rest of your employees? Talking about public recognition, talking about Zoom or Teams meeting shout outs. Okay, if I'm gonna say internal social, okay, do you give part of your recognition like badges, certifications, priority access, or when you say priority access, is you're gonna give more slot for vacations or things like that. Non-financial rewards, are these things happening in your organization? And are you considering your younger employees, treating them that making your report real time and some kind of into their culture? Well, in our organization, we gamify it. Okay, what do you mean by gamify it? So let's say, for example, we have micro awards, we have leaderboards by team, okay, and short feedback loops. Okay, so many of our Gen Z employees and even the later part of the millennial groups, they prefer quick recognition and annual rather than annual surprises. And finally, how do you verify and you prevent those that are just playing games with the systems? So with all these mechanisms being set in place, you can actually put a stronger and sturdy HR systems that is sustainable. Sustainable because it's not only protecting your environment, not only ensuring that your organization is profitable, but also prioritizing and putting it first, your people, because they would feel that the business practice is ethical. Okay, you have made your ethics a business system, not just speech, not just words, not just something that they can read on the posters on the wall or anywhere else, because you have clearly defined the non-negotiables. What do you mean by non-negotiables? no bribery, for example, no kickbacks, no corruptions, no falsified data. These are non-negotiables, part of your zero tolerance policies. Okay, have you redesigned something like incentives that result, okay, at any cost or impossible? Things like these are seen, felt, recognized by your employees. They may not speak or talk about it, but this is something that they value. Okay, so go back to your very purpose of being HR. So during hiring people and promoting people, promote them for integrity, not just charisma. Okay? So you structured interviews. Again, mechanism, structure. You build as well fast detection and real protection. When I say fast detection, make it available in your organization about multiple speak up channels that they have a means to let you know if there is something, okay, irregular. There's this saying: when you see something, say something. But if you don't enable them, you don't provide them, okay, the channel for them to speak up, then they're not going to be speaking up. They're not going to come to your office and say, hey, you know what, Junerey, I saw this employee who did this and did that. No, they want it to be secure as well and be safe. So there are too many things to do. It can be, an entire day training, entire week training, how to really strengthen your HR framework. Okay, I wish we would have all that time in the world to talk about it.
Okay.
But again, this is just the interest of time, limited webinar, but this kind of the nutshell that I can share with you today.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Probably I still have one time. Yeah. One question from the floor. Just one question because time is very limited. Andy, are you ready? Yeah. Please, short question. Please. Please open your mic, please.
Okay. Thank you, Professor, for your presentation. In the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned about the integrity. My question is, how can HR foster a culture of integrity to ensure genuine ESG commitment and accountability across the organization? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Very
Prof. Baladhay.
very good question. Very timely. Okay.
Yes.
Integrity again is not just part of your core values that you publish. Okay, it is something that should be within each employee, that you do what you say, and you say. You say what you do, and you do what you say. So, for example, if you're a leader in the company and you have said something, just make sure that you live by your words. You walk the talk. Okay. Because integrity falls aside, it goes sideways if people would start to, see you feel that you're not true to what you're saying. Okay? Integrity is more than honesty. I'm gonna say, it is a cosmic, kind of culture that you should exercise in the workplace. Okay? How true are we in what we do? Because if we start saying something that we're not really doing literally, that's when integrity crashes. So it starts out simple, and once you do it and exercise it on a day-to-day basis, it becomes a daily habit. And what becomes a habit, becomes our character. And what becomes our character becomes our future, our destiny. So start it daily, and not just you are a part of HR, you're a leader, even if whatever role you play in your organization, maybe a rank and file employee. Say what you do and do what you say. Okay?
That's very
Walk
good.
the talk.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Professor.
Thank you very much, Prof. Baladhay. So because of time, I think I should end this session. And thank you very much for Professor Baladhay for your amazing presentation, and also you answer all questions very, very well. Actually, there's some question from my chat, but I think because of the time, so I should end this session. And again, I'm on behalf of the organizing committee of the ICOM 2025 would like to say thank you very much for your participation today presentation. See you next time, Professor Baladhay. Yeah.
You're very much welcome. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, so I think we are coming to the third presentation. I think in a short minute, in a few minutes, so Professor Hazman Samsudin will be coming to our stage. Professor Hazman, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Very nice to see you again. To see you again. I mean, I see you in the way but now I see you in the stage. Okay, please
Yeah,
take
sure,
your
sure.
time, 25, 30 minutes, and you can give me 15 minutes for delivering questions from the floor. Thank you. That's good.
Alright.
I can see it. Good.
Alright. Okay. Yep. Alright. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning. I think it's 11:30 if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
In Jakarta.
Before 12.
Yep.
You can say good morning.
Before time. Still morning, but in Malaysia it's noon already.
Oh yeah, right.
12:30.
More than 12. Huh?
Alright. Alright, so being the last presenter is very challenging because it's been well covered by our two distinguished speakers, Prof. John Walsh and Prof. Baladhay. And it was an interesting sharing, I must say. And because it's very challenging, it's been covered, lots of it being covered, I was thinking, what should I present today? So I'm thinking we have been talking about ESG, greenwashing and things, but I'm going to bring you to a different perspective, but it is the same thing that we are talking about green HRM, but in the language of, instead of green, we use the language of blue. So we are adding another colors in our, in our solar system of the rainbows. So what is blue economy and what is green economy and why blue economy is relevant in the context of Southeast Asian countries instead of green? But of course, we can agree to disagree and we can agree to disagree between blue and green. But nevertheless, they all serve the same purpose. That is the goals of sustainability. So today we are going to look at the capacity building for the blue economy and how human capital strategies and talent development as enabler towards a resilient coastal future. Okay, by the way, I'm Hazman Samsudin. I'm the Director of Blue Economy Advancement Center and the Associate Professor at the Faculty of Business, Economic and Social Development in University Malaysia Terengganu. All right. So, blue is the new green? So, and I don't know if you have come across the concept of blue economy. Green economy, I believe you have been, across this concept so many times, but blue, maybe some of you, this is the first time they heard about it, the blue economy, because blue economy is a new concept, been not literally new. It arose during 2010 by Professor Gante Pauli, during the summit in Brazil. So it was picked up by the World Bank and it becomes their attention. But nevertheless, we look what is the differences between blue economy and the green economy. So both are supporting the sustainability, the road to sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, I would agree with Prof. Baladhay, the 3P concept: people, profit, and what is it? People, profit, and I can't remember. I just remember the
Planet.
3P. Planet. Yep. Okay, but in sustainability, the pillars is the same. We have 3 pillars. That is environment, economics, and the social aspect. So social aspect is the people, environment is the planet, and economy is the profit. Okay, so that is the pillar. So in green economy, that is the three pillar. And in blue economy, also the same pillar that, we are carrying it. So you look to the right, we have green, we have land, we have trees, we have everything on the land. And you look left, you have the sea. So both of them, we are talking about sustainability. But what is the main differences between blue economy and the green economy? Okay, so despite of the perspective, the green on the land and blue is on the sea, or on the water, I might say, the marine aspect instead of sea. The blue economy, we emphasize on three factors. That is the endowment factor, natural solutions, and biomimicry, if you ever came across with that terms. Okay, in green economy, the emphasis on these three aspects is not really on that. I give you an example of the innovation, the invention of the green economy. For example, we are talking about EV electric vehicles, and we assume that it's going to be green. But if you have read the articles released by Toyota, it is very interesting that even though we claim electric vehicle as green, it is far from green because the battery last years, you're going to have like break even, the carbon emission break even is around 7 years. You only have a positive net zero carbon for 1 year. And after that, we are facing a bigger problem. Where do we, eliminate this battery? We cannot, so far the technology we have, we cannot recycle the battery. So where do we dispose the battery? So are we going to dump it in the sea in order to make our land greener? So it looks green, but in fact might not really green. So this is the questions. And by looking at the endowment factors, countries like Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, the Asian countries, they are not endowed with this technology. So it is expensive. And we have to buy this technology, the batteries, and the resources are not from our countries, are not from this Southeast Asian. So that's why it is quite expensive and the technology are not there. So our road to sustainability is quite far if we adopt green economy, because we are yet to reach that technological advancement. And if you can see, I don't know in other countries, but in Malaysia, electrical vehicle is very expensive. Not many can afford to have the electric vehicle, so that the road to the green economy is very, very far. But with blue economy, we emphasize on the endowment factor, what we already have, and we work with that. And we emphasize on the natural solutions. Some things, our ancestors have intervened some problem with cost-effective solutions, very cheap, and they just use the natural solutions through the local knowledge. So this is the aspect that we emphasize in the blue economy. Okay, so this is the concept, if you can see. So in between blue and green, we are not going to like, oh, last time we look at the green economy. Now, why don't we shift our attention towards blue economy? We neglect green economy because the Tasman said that green economy is too expensive. Now we look at blue economy. No, it's not like that. What is important is to strike the balance. I just shared with you a picture of how the ecological interaction between the sea and the land. So I would say that from reach to the reef and from the reef to the reach is going back again. Okay, so it is integrated system. integrated ecosystem. It is different ecosystem. Land have different ecosystem, seas have different ecosystem, but they are somehow integrated. So we have to treat them, both of world very well. So why blue is the color? So we can see that 70% of our oceans, 70% of the world is covered by waters, that is ocean. And as we can see, there are, I just put up some like 6 sectors that are directly involved with the blue economy. And that is a very big sectors, I can say. The first one, we can see that we have a tourism, ecotourism activities. Most of tourism happens in the coastal areas. And we have the energy. In Southeast Asia, most of the oil rigs are offshore in the sea. And we have deep sea mining, of course, with the REE coming out, the rare earth material, rare earth elements. So there are other materials out in the sea. And that is a future prospect, very big future prospect, because the worlds are shifting from fossil fuel towards REE. And then we also have this bioprospecting sectors, that serve in pharmaceuticals, eDNA economy, and other related stuff with, going on with these chemical kind of things. And the other thing is we have the shipping, millions, billions, or maybe trillion of economy are done through shipping, through the sea. And the other thing, the big aspect of the water system is the aquaculture and fisheries. So I would like to separate between fisheries and aquaculture. Fisheries happen in the sea and aquaculture happening in the rivers. So they have different problems with human resource development and things. But even though we look at them as, similar things, that is fisheries. Okay, so that's why we look at the blue is the new color, because it is more relevant to the Asian countries. And if we look at the Asian countries map, 9 out of 10 ASEAN countries have coastal lines, except for Laos. They don't have that coastal line. And because of that, the blue economy in ASEAN is defined as the marine ecosystem instead of sea. A marine ecosystem include lake, rivers, and sea. And we look at the Western countries, why blue economy is not being the priority. They prioritize more on green economy, because 15 to 16 countries in EU doesn't have a coastline. So that's why they are focusing on green instead of blue. And of course, they already have that technological advancement in the green economy. So they focus more on that. So I must say that in the perspective of ASEAN countries, blue economy is more relevant. That is why blue is the color in the context of ASEAN. So, but nevertheless, blue is another aspect of a green economy. Don't worry too much. Oh, now we have another color. We are learning about green HRM. So should we introduce blue HRM? Nah, you don't need that. We can still continue with green HRM, because green is, a synonym to sustainable. And blue is just, just another synonym, also refers to sustainable, but we are looking at how we use our marine ecosystem. So striking the balance between green and blue is very important, and also the economic growth. So we can see here the blue economic strength. We put the purpose on natural solutions, that we are using local knowledge to solve the problem. And biomimicry. Oh, okay, I forgot to explain what is biomimicry. Biomimicry, we try to mimic the nature, okay? And, we find as sorry, my phone just ring up. Okay, so biomimicry, okay, this is the example I give you about the bullet train in Japan. So if you notice that the bullet train mimic the shape of a kingfisher, because the kingfisher, they're going through, they're going to dive and catch the fish in the water, so they need aerodynamic to do that, aerodynamic design. So the bullet train just mimic that design, so that when they go through the tunnel, it's going to be smooth and there is no, we call it as a sonic boom. So every time the train going through the tunnel, it's going to produce a loud sound that's going to interrupt the neighborhood. But when they mimic the kingfisher's aerodynamic design made by God, they solve the problem. So, and they also increase the speed of the train without increasing the power. It's just the design. So the design mimic the natural solutions. That is biomimicry. We mimic the nature solution. And then the endowment factors, that is the blue economy strength. And the green economy, it is a holistic approach across land-based system, and it addresses carbon emission, biodiversity loss, and circular economy. And it drives large-scale transition in energy, transport, food, and system. But worry not, in blue economy, we cover everything in the green economy. And on top of that, it is the solutions, that how we face the problem, that makes the difference in blue economy. And in circular economy, I don't have to explain this. It's very simple. That is absolute profit maximizing. Okay, so this is some summary of the scope between green, blue, and circular. So we can see sustainability is the core focus, same between green and blue. So that's why you don't have to change between green HRM. Now we have to turn to blue HRM. No, just maintain with green HRM. Similarly, we have green energy. It's still used in the blue economy. So we still use the green energy instead of blue energy. But, some people, they prefer to use the words of blue energy, but then green energy is more suitable. And we can see that blue economy directly towards the marine ecosystem, green economy partially. And if we look at the land-based economy, blue economy are partially on that aspect. Okay, so blue economy is a perspective or a concept. Perspective, I mean, after my presentation, what I just talked about. Perspective is just you look, blue economy is just the new green, something like that is a perspective. If you look as a concept, blue economy, we have a different approach. It's not just a perspective, but we have a different approach in tackling the issues in green economy. That is the three pillars that I said about biomimicry, nature solutions, and endowment factor. So this is some definition. What is blue economy as defined by World Bank, ASEAN, the UN, and EU. EU is the most simple, anything related to coastal area. So we look at the definition. Does World Bank include freshwater? Not really, mainly oceans. Unsand, yes, sometimes contextual. we include freshwater, lake and rivers, and UN sometimes as well, and EU, no, it's just primarily marine. But regardless of the definition, all I can say is that most part of the blue economy cover the sea. Okay, in context of ASEAN, because we are talking about Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines countries, we include the river and lake. Otherwise, Laos will be excluded from the WhatsApp group because Laos don't have coastal area. So the ASEAN, we prioritize inclusivity. So we include, and it is very relevant because from reach to the reef, the ecosystem are integrated. Okay, so this is the blue economy, lots of opportunity as you can see from the picture. It is ocean of opportunity. It can generate lots of economy. And if we include rivers and lake, it's generate trillions of economy and workforce. So why it is important? So let's see. Just look at our recent devastating event. What happened in Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia, in Aceh. We just have that typhoon that started somewhere in the sea, and then the impact is on the land. So that's why there is the urgency to turn to blue. We have to take care of our oceans. Just look at the picture. It's just devastating to look at that. Erosion, flooding, infrastructure loss, tourism decline, and salinization effect on the agriculture land and things. So this involves lots of economic loss. So this is another issue in blue economy, the sea level rise. Some people say, no, it is not real. So, but actually it is real. You can see that graph from the NASA satellite. From 1993, the water has rose significantly. Even though it's just 10 cm rise in the sea level, but it involved lots of land mass area loss. Okay, I share you with the case study that I've done my research in small island in Malaysia. We call it as a Tioman Island. It is located in the South China Sea. It is very small, and we can see from the hydrodynamic modeling, there is the rate is the inundation area in 2030. We expect that to be, and this in 2100. It looks like there's not a lot of them, just a little land area. But if we zoom up, we can see here. This is how it looks in just few years time. The frog shape looks here. That is the inundation area that we expect to have. And from this point to this point, it is around 200 meters of land that will be inundated. So it is very big. And look here on the third picture, this is the airport. If nothing, no intervention will be done, so we're going to lose this airport. So we're going to lose, millions of infrastructure here. And this is the, what we call it, wave breaker. Now, the water have rose, above the wave breaker. And this is the villager shows the water level during the monsoon. So, during this case study, imagine just a small island. We already lose 23 billion ringgit Malaysia in 2050. That is around, I might say, like 5 billion USD by 2050. This is just a small island. Imagine Indonesia, very large country, how many islands we have. Philippines, how many islands we have. and the land area, and Jakarta, facing severe risks of sea level rise, and they already move towards Bandar Nusantara in Kalimantan. So the sea level rise is real, and it is not a future risk. The economic losses are already quantifiable today. So it is happening now. So this is just a study in a small island. Just look at the big scale of our country. So why blue economy? From 70 SDG, UN SDG goals, so blue economy covers like 9 out of 70 SDG. So that is a lot. So that's why we have to focus on the blue economy. So now we look at the role of green HRM as the enabler for blue economy. So we look at this is the capacity building that we need for the sustainable future. We look at this devastating flood happening right now in Aceh. Thousands of lives have lost. Vietnam, Philippines, they are very, very, very harsh weather we have here, and all are related to the sea. That's why blue economy is the priority. So we're going to have these people in the future as a HRM. We're going to build this capacity building, coastal risk management, people who are expert in this. And we need people who are expert in mangrove and marine ecosystem restoration. Mangrove play a very important role in our ecosystem. Without our, sometimes we didn't realize it, but they are very important. And the blue carbon measurement and verification people who can verify it. And we are talking about blue carbon in Southeast Asian countries. Mangrove provide the most of this carbon. That's why blue carbon in Southeast Asia is referred to mangrove area. And the blue carbon compared to the green carbon, blue carbon is twice the price compared to the green. Because the protection of coastal protection from sea level rise that they give, and the effect from mangrove is double actually, preserving the mangrove area. So we need these people, and we need low carbon aquaculture people, the expert in aquaculture.
Excuse me, Professor Hazman, 5 more minutes, please.
All right, sure. Yep, no worries. And we need people in sustainable fisheries, ecotourism management. This is the thing about ecosystem management. We talk about, ecotourism is seasonal. During a season, it's not every year round. During the monsoon, the coastal areas are not a favorite place to go. So we need people who are expert in capacity, carrying capacity, and then how to make it profitable, even though it is seasonal, and we maintain the numbers of people who can visit the coastal areas, so we can, sustain the environment. And these are the other people, expert we need: bioprospecting, data science, renewable energy, shipping, and food security. So look at the blue economy potential. So this is the halal food market forecast. It is expanding, exponentially expanding. This is the carbon credit demand. We can look, it is increasing. And Southeast Asian, as I reiterate before, geographically positioned for Southeast Asian, we are bordering with the seas. That's why blue economy is very important. So we are talking about ethics and sustainable practices. So HRM, green HRM in blue sector. So of course we must have this. I think these have been covered well by both speakers before me about the responsible recruitment process, inclusivity, and fair compensation. The other aspect of the green HRM should look is hiring candidates with an environmental mindset and high commitment towards sustainability. And the HRM also play a role in training on environmental issue and implement sustainable practice in daily work. Another example in Japan, they call it vertical farming in the office area. That is very interesting practice that we can, take as an example. And the HRM also urged to put some sustainability KPI matrices and encouraging eco-friendly behaviors and green rewards. So this is building capacity for blue economy growth. So of course, the HR have to develop what is the skill for the future, and they have to develop the skills, develop the talent. So we're gonna need the TVET, university and industry pipeline to work together. And of course, the importance of transdisciplinary talent. So we need people who can, who have the knowledge across discipline, environment, economics, and social. I would like to share to you, I have one project on renewable energy. We work with engineers, engineers concerns about how things should works. We talk about solar panel. We have tall buildings with what we call it, tall buildings with mirrors, not mirrors, what we call it as a glass building. So, it reflected the heat from the sun. So, it speed up the effect of climate change. The world heat up more quickly because of that glass building. So, because the glass reflect the heat, so they're going to design the glass that going to absorb the heat and convert it into the energy. So they're going to make a solar panel. So engineers said it works best when it is dark. The glass must be dark. But does it sellable with dark glass? Economically speaking, no. We need a building that is not dark, that is bright. Otherwise, it's going to increase the operating cost, the lights and things. And in terms of people, we are not going to work in a cave-like place. We need the sun. So we are part of the ecology. So we need the sun. So this is the thing. We need to strike the balance. We need people who can understand this balance, not just unidisciplinary. So this is the future skills demand in blue economy. People with interdisciplinary skill set and people's professionals in the data science and
Professor Hazman, 3 more minutes, please. 3 more minutes.
All right. Yep. Thank you. All right. And this is just a summary of it. So this is the job market forecasted from 2025 to 30. So 170 million new jobs will be created in the blue economy and 92 million displaced because of this road to the sustainability. And blue economy jobs, this is the blue economy jobs: maritime cybersecurity, environmental conservation, offshore renewable energy, and sort of. And the skills demand, as I said, we need people who are interdisciplinary and have analytical thinking accompanied with sustainability mindset. So in conclusion, ocean economy is the future, is our future for Southeast Asian countries, and sustainability requires people, not just technology, as conveyed by Prof. Baladhay. 70% ESG is talking about the people. So sustainability requires people, and ethical talent development is the foundation for resilient coastal societies. All right, so thank you. I end up my presentation here. So remember that ocean opportunity in blue economy.
Thank you very much, Professor Hazman, for your amazing presentation. And actually, I respect for the question. Maybe you would like to directly question, but I would like to question which I saw from the chat. This from Muhammad Bauzan. Mr. Professor Hazman, thank you very much for your presentation. And how can we redesign the global supply chain for fishery products to align with the principle of the circular economy or minimal waste and the blue economy sustainability while remaining competitive in the conventional economy market? It's a very good question.
Very good questions. How we redesign in fisheries sectors. So this is the thing. We are not going to focus on people not only know how to catch the fish, but also we need to equip them with the knowledge of ecological system. This is going to happen soon. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. The Plastic Act. Now we have environmental law. Now we are talking about carbon emissions and things because of this environmental law. Soon we're going to have this Plastic Act. So what does it have to do with Plastic Act and the fishery sectors? The fish, when our waters polluted with the plastic, the plastic going to break down, become the microplastic, and the fish will consume this nutrient, unwanted nutrient, the plastic, into the bodies. And the result, we eat the fish contaminated with plastic. So what happens is that is why we have a research that shows that in human bodies, we have lots of microplastics. So to resolve this, microplastic in our bodies, that is the cause of cancers and other, disease that critical disease that happening right now. It's contribute to it. So we need cleaner water. So this must happen, must go through the fisheries community. So they must clean up the rivers with the sustainable practice. And the result of clean rivers, the fish feed cost is going to be reduced. Just imagine here, how can I give you an example? Let's see on pearl. The clam produce pearl because the clam is like a filter in the water, so they will absorb the unwanted things and produce the pearls. Similarly with human, we develop tumor, we develop cancer, we develop what we call it, kidney stone and things because of unwanted minerals that our body needs. So similar with the fish. So when the fish, consume those microplastic, they are not healthy. When they are not healthy, they need more nutrient. So meaning they need more feeds. That will increase the cost of our fish production. So just imagine, you can just cut the cost of fish production by have a cleaner rivers. And sooner or later, the Plastic Act, when they come, nobody will buy a fish that from the contaminated microplastic rivers.
That's right.
So we have to redesign the practice. When we talk about fisheries, they must be equipped with ecological and sustainability practice.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Azrael, would you like to deliver question, please? So please open your mic, please. Okay, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Afternoon, Doctor. Thank you for the comprehensive presentation. And honestly, this is my first time hearing about the blue economy, so I'm very interested in this topic. Earlier, you highlighted the role of cross-sector collaboration in workforce development for the blue economy. So my question would be, how can partnerships between government, industries, and academia be structured to support and sustain capacity building over the long term? Thank you.
Yeah. Please, Prof. Hazman.
Thank you. Good questions. This is a question that I came across quite seldom. How can we, integrate the solution from these three stakeholders: the government, academia, and the private sectors? It is very important to address these partnerships. Industry sectors, they are the frontliners, I might say, because they are the one who practice these sustainability practices. The government is someone who make the policies, and academia is a sector that supply this capacity building. So they need a communication, three-way communications between this partnership. So what we do in this to strengthen the partnership in Malaysia, what we do is that we have lots of roundtable discussion involving these three sectors. So we in academia, we did lots of research and we have the findings from what the practices from the industry, and we advise the government. So this is the new policy they should make. But this is the thing, very challenging. I've been working with environmentalists. When the government wanted to open up palm oil area, so these environmentalists said that no, you cannot open this area as palm oil because it will disrupt the ecological ecosystem in that area. But then they didn't think about the people, the society. The society needs jobs. The society needs economy to keep on moving. The society needs food to fill their stomach. So this is the thing. So I was there. I'm an economist. As my background, I'm an economist. So I didn't agree with we can have that environmentalist mindset, but to strike the balance, we can open up this palm oil area, but we must practice integrated farming. With integrated farming, we can maintain not all the ecosystem, but at least half of the ecosystem is still there. So with integrated farming, we will produce a win-win situation. So that's why in Green HRM, I would like to urge a recruitment process that involve these three people: sciences background, science meaning that ecological science and technical, economists and business here, and the other one is social science, who concerned about the people. And these three group of people must be there in one organization so we can strike the balance. Otherwise, we are in a big trouble.
Yeah, I think you happy, Azril. Yeah. Okay. So I see from chat here, Professor Hazman. So we already heard something the theory in the beginning about the ethic. Second speaker say about ESG, and you already talk about the blue economy. So the question is from the floor here: what practical step have you personally taken? Step that are very close to our everyday life that we can easily adopt and replicate all of this. Thank you. Good question.
All right.
Short question, not easy to answer.
Yeah, it's not easy to answer.
Okay, please.
Because
I believe you can do that.
It is a cascading effect. One action leads to another. So we take one approach, it's going to have a cascading effect to the other sectors. So, to find equity, that is what we call it as, equity in the society is not easy. So, what step have we've been taken? For example, in Malaysia, so we start with the coastal community first, with their sustainable fisheries catch and aquaculture system. So we give them some knowledge through USR, University Social Responsibilities. We teach them doing things more sustainable. They can maintain their traditional way, but using sustainable products. So at university we invent a products that are biodegradable. Similar things they are using, but it is biodegradable, and we supply it to them. And we find some donor sponsorship to provide, because these innovations involve cost, and we find some donors to create this product. To finance this product, and we supply it to the fisheries. So, for example, we have some like fishing line that are biodegradable, and we call it another thing as, I don't know what is in English, but in Malay we call it as unjam. I think it is
What
a
is it?
similar language.
Okay.
We use in Indonesia. So we use a biodegradable unjam. So it's just like a place we provide a shade, so the fish are attracted, the small fish are attracted to it, and the big fish will come and feed on the small fish. So it create a what you call it, a fishing area. We create like a biodegradable environment for the fish. So that is the practice and step that we have taken, but it is quite slow, but slowly it takes, to change the mindset of people towards more sustainability practice is not easy, because they have been doing traditional way, like I don't know for how many 100 years, and we trying to change them in just one day is not possible. But then first step is, a start for a million step. So we just have to start with initiative, and we also have make another big step here in Malaysia. We, like in Europe this is normal, in Malaysia is quite new.
Okay.
We have integrate three powers, three source of powers. We have the wind, the wave, and the solar. Solar is floating solar. We put it on the sea area, and then we tied them with the wind energy, and on the shore we have the wave energy. So we make the grid to the villagers. So the villagers will have operate 24 hours operating fridge, so they have unlimited supply of ice for their catch to the sea. So this is how we try to kickstart the project. But of course, it needs the involvement from the partnership with the industries to provide the finance.
So it is successful, eh?
I would say quite successful based on our objective, because our objective is very small, just to provide for the fisheries communities. So we start small.
Okay. Yeah, I think I really hope you satisfied, Rico, what the Professor Hazman answer. Yeah. Okay, Professor Hazman, because of time, I should end this session, and I think there is some still question, but the time limitation for this session, so I should end this session. And again, I would like to thank you very much for your participation to our international seminar. And again, I would like to say thank you very much on behalf of the University of Pamulang, and see you again sometime. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my session. So I would like to end the session, and I would like to give the session to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much for all your participation, for this presentation, for this question, for this comment, and see you again next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Taswanda Taryo, MSc, who has already guided the discussion with the three distinguished great speakers. Please give applause once again. Thank you to our distinguished guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen, for participating in this international conference to making it a huge success. Your contribution and present have added the great value to the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, as the closing of this conference, let's say Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. On behalf of the organizing committee, we apologize if there are any shortcomings in organizing this international conference. See you at the International Conference 2026. Stay enthusiastic, keep maintaining your health, and may we all be protected by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Hadanallah wa iyyakum ajmain. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah.